At Lora and Bernie Atherton's house on the Gebbie Road in Greensboro. Present are John Allen, Ida Perron, Lora and Bernie, Harriet Wilson, Dorothy Ling, Harriet Wilson, Jeanette Hill.
At the front, but Elsie Young was the teacher, and that was 1907. Has Bernie got a card like this?
I think he does have. Yeah, Grace. Yeah.
Now, is this, the teachers had their own pictures taken?
Let's see, they did.
I have little cards that they gave to the students. Look, and it has the students listed, too.
Helen Rogers.
This is Helen McFarland Rogers.
And Miss Springstead had something that said Florence Field of Bloom. Had a little card like that. Her picture was on it, I can't remember, but she showed it to us.
And her pupils were Daisy Willie, Mabel Grant,
I knew Daisy Willie. I made her grand.
Bertha Lewis,
I knew him, and I knew him, and I
Robert
knew him,
Dixon.
and that was my husband right there. These are his.
Andrew Hill, right?
Bernard Rutledge is gone, William Hill's gone, Herman Willie's alive. Curly Allen is gone. Harold Allen is alive.
He pretends to be
And William Hill is Andrew's brother, Lewis's brother. And then you have Albert Flynn, I haven't heard that.
I never heard that.
Are Everett Rutledge and John Rutledge
They were
brothers.
brothers.
You know he does that with his
Lester Alva Hill, 3 Hills,
Yeah.
2 Willies. Are Herman and Andrew brothers?
No,
This is
no.
Roy and Perron.
But I guess they were related. Herman George Willie, you remember George Willie's church? They were brothers.
They were brilliant. And there's Andrew, Robert Willie?
Sure, it came out in Helen
no.
No, I believe it. It could be, but
never know.
Have you seen that one?
no, I don't know who they are.
You don't?
No.
You should. It's Bernie's family.
That is?
Yeah.
I didn't know he had 2 of these sisters. No. Would that be a boy?
No, that's Greta.
That's Greta. Well, is this
That's
a girl?
Bernie. That's the boy. I think that's the greatest thing.
I know.
But now, did your brothers wear, when they were young like that, wear dresses?
I've got a picture.
You
of
did,
Harold
they did,
and-
huh?
and
So
Harold
in
had
those
a-
days,
They wore dresses.
they wore dresses when they were quite,
So there's 3
Now-
boys and a girl?
3 boys and a girl.
Roy. This is Roy, isn't it?
No, this is Roy, and this is Pearl.
And Bernie.
They look, Bernie and Pearl, look about a lot
Is
alike.
Roy alive?
Oh, yeah. He's, almost 90, he's in Florida. And, we talk with him, once a month anyway, and sometimes after, he's quite well.
Well, isn't it? Now, what about, the little boy there? What was his name? Paul.
Oh, Paul is living down there too. He's looking after them. They live in a trailer by themselves, but Paul is in real estate down there.
Isn't that something?
And,
Oh, it's Bill.
I remember him at a
Where are the
dance.
rest of the, or is his sister still alive?
yeah, Greta Collier.
Greta Collier.
I made the paper just the other day.
It's a mother to Tom Collier. You know Tom?
Sure.
Yeah, Tom Collier's mother. And I guess she's out to Barton living with the oldest one now. She has been.
Or she visited.
But Bernie sits with his fist like that now.
He does.
Still has that. He'll sit in there, and I'll notice that his fists are like this when he sits. It's
And I remember the mother and the father.
Oh, yeah.
And Miss Atherton. Yes, I've been to their house many times. That's awful school. This is my first school.
he always tells me not to show this, but I don't think he really cares.
Where was it?
Over at the head of the lake, the Campbell School.
Yeah.
Go around the state and it was.
The corner, where the Campbell Farm is, or the
Yep, go over on the
Field Farm. All across the road and further up,
It's gone now.
They had the window up.
This one hasn't got any bell school, but I thought Bernie would like to see a deep crack there.
Oh,
He slung
that's
in the
the
neighborhood.
store, that's the apartment store.
And it looked a lot nicer in those days than it
It
does
sure
now.
did. And that's where Mrs. Morris Rowell is now.
Within a few years, that's done
Look at that store, looks great. They did a lot of business at the farm down there.
Town report. I seen this is
And
in the library.
way back when my husband went to school, I suppose they gave these for maybe prizes or attendance or something, but this is Angus, my husband. Isn't that pretty? Beautiful card. And it don't say which from, but this is from his teacher, Jenny Young.
Circulating around and watching.
I just found it when I found it. And this is his teacher, Richard Allen. Probably some relation to John, I think. Could be. It looks like pretty pictures.
And
Work, they like to go to school.
Well, they like getting these cards too.
And give them some money. From Jenny Young, his teacher.
Great.
Because he had a lot of people.
And, you should sit right up here, I think, she's got a chair there, Bernie's got a chair.
I got a chair. You can take it.
Oh, are those Valentines used to get?
No, that's what my husband got years ago when he went to school.
But was it Valentine or what?
No,
He's being good. He just
being for attendance, it might be for awards.
See, they're pretty.
From his teacher.
Great. Those are really something, I think. Yeah, it's beautiful. They're pretty.
I guess that's
now they give out little books.
No, I'm right.
I guess he hasn't got anything to say.
If we make any mistakes, Bernie, throw your hands up.
Probably compared to today, you try to buy, cards and things, and you amount to $1 or so, and it's hard today, yeah, it would be a lot more than that. They're fantastic. They're beautiful.
Well, Jeanette goes way back, she can, in Greensboro, way back to 100 years ago.
Oh,
So that's
just about.
not a day, but I mean, in knowledge of.
You and I can like that.
That's right.
You ought to be careful, because I'm about the same age as you, I think.
You are?
You're a lot older than I am.
76.
Oh, you are? Oh, that's young.
You're my age.
What's this little book?
Well, that is a school records book. I think my grandfather kept that, and that's 1877, Miss Brown. You'll have to see the writing in it and the prices for wood.
Oh, my grandfather, you remember when we was, weren't you?
Yeah. That's a black
No,
forest.
you never saw him, I don't believe. John Kendrick. No, John. My mother's father's name was John Kendrick, and then she had a brother, John Kendrick, too. You remember him? John Kendrick. This is before Uncle, my mother's brother, I would say.
My dad worked at Hayes and someone sold for 25 cents an hour and he worked for the team.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. So people didn't make as much money either, so relatively, not that much.
Bernie didn't see those pictures, and I think he was right there.
I think
Yeah, repairs 25 cents here.
There's one of each
One box
factor.
of crayons, 25 cents. It's funny, the repairs are the same as a box of crayons. The box of crayons are fairly high, I would say, compared
you've got this
to
picture.
repairing things.
But the box of crayons, wouldn't it be a big box?
Oh, Young.
Oh, I would say so.
Bernie
Oh,
would know
yes,
that
they
was,
would
he was born
pay
in
25
1902,
for one
so he
box.
would know.
If he was repairing a stove or something,
Yeah.
10 cents. Got hinges inside of the door.
How much the pieces
It's really amazing.
Harold
Back then, they used to give things
Yeah.
like that.
Where's this schoolhouse?
It's my first school, isn't it?
I did a here.
We are up here on
At the head of the lake.
yeah.
Now, who are all those little kids?
I have no idea.
Well, that's great.
didn't know about
That's great,
Yeah, that's right, that was my first school.
Oh, Bernie and I were
last
trying to
name,
like
Grace
them all.
Mildred Christie, you know, what was she, your Grace,
Here's the one for him to lay.
Fairbanks, that's Grace Fairbanks, and this is the school up here.
That's the game.
This the road across the hill.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
What's that?
Well, that's about right.
Yeah, I would say so.
And then there's one up here. Well, I call
Bernie's
it,
got one of
well,
those.
that's it. And this
Hayden Road, huh?
Yeah, I
is Mitchell, so I don't know if that's the right name for it.
Yeah, I would say so. I know Logan is.
Yeah, I hear it. Yeah, well,
And then here is the one over by,
that is,
used to be Clydesdale, but,
The Spear School,
yeah,
wasn't it?
Spear Street. And there's one over here by Sheffield. You taught there?
I taught there 3 years.
He's only St. John's.
Then there's one on the road, across the swamp, Lower Fall, Massachusetts.
Yeah, that little crossroad, yeah.
Yeah, I go over one or two, and this one's down to the end,
That's right, near where I
one's the
live.
village.
This is very interesting.
Now, was the one in East
I don't know why she gave that as
Yeah,
Well, maybe we should have a picture of this and identify all those, when you can, and to put in with this,
That would be great.
writing up. Who would, who
You can
does this?
copy that, Fred, or Bob? Has been copying pictures?
Yeah, because,
How many of you got there now, do you know?
Bernie knows them all,
Mine, I
he's
think.
in there, and he knows
Oh,
them all.
where's Bernie in here?
I think it's this one, isn't it, Bernie? The round face.
Yeah, mine.
And there should be three more?
Well, there were 12 districts. I don't know how many schools.
Yeah, they had these pictures, that was the other thing, they had these pictures in the first, school that she taught at.
12 districts and
This would be what
22
year?
teachers.
Mom.
And the total,
I don't say we did it, Jim.
the total.
What year would this be?
Money was
Your first year you taught.
Oh, 1927.
1927, now to put that on the back, maybe you wanna put that in, at least it's one school, it's still,
And it's probably fairly typical
it's gone.
of the other schools.
I would say
I would think so.
That's a Temple school.
that's right.
Yeah.
Well, that would be good to put it in.
And my dad went to
Oh, there's a list of them. What year was this cafeteria published?
Yeah, Ernest Lyon, they want to bring that kid down, and Mrs. Campbell, of course, she wanted that school.
247 pupils.
She came down to my day, she said, if you open that school up, she said, I'll board the school system from there. And she,
Who taught that, do you know?
well, I don't know this who was, I can say, I know we went way back in there, North Greensboro, and with that school, and the one up by Gebbie.
You haven't got any record of where the school, Hazelwood School, when we made it. What did they call it?
Superior.
Before the Superior.
Standard.
Standard, and then they made it Superior.
I
You
know,
got any record on that?
but Ina Ladd was teaching there, wasn't she? When they
She
made it,
taught there.
when they made
I know
it.
that.
into a-
Oh, yeah, she
I know
taught
The only teacher I had in the grade.
Right, this is,
I know that.
who was it taught to be
Yeah, I know.
so long,
That was after I
Hensley.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
who was that?
Florence,
When we
Florence
moved down to that school, she was one of the teachers.
She taught
She was teaching up in our neighborhood first.
Or did
That was
they
after I
change?
got there.
Well, maybe.
Yes. I put that.
Did you have to,
I put that in there.
go in your own school, or did they transport you up into our neighborhood? Because there's
No,
one of them up there.
I went there, and then you see, I went to Greensboro 1919. Yeah, that's right.
Who taught before Grace Fairbanks? I know Erla Simpson was my first teacher.
Who?
Erla Simpson from Sheffield was my first teacher.
Well, there was, you remember Stacy Willie?
Yeah, I remember him.
He taught up there,
That would be before Erla.
yeah. And then there was,
There was Leonard from Fairhaven, Vermont. Nellie Leonard. I went to school to her.
there was another woman taught there, oh, she was a tough bird. And her daughter taught there. Daughter wasn't so bad as she was, but she was a corker.
Probably had to be, no?
Shoot, I've got some pictures, I wish I'd looked them up.
Is this the North Greensboro school?
No, it's
Back where,
Hazen
Charlie-
Road.
Charlie and
Ron, Harold,
and Annie and Harold. Some of them were going through Bert Long, Claude Long, and Uri.
George Urey.
George Uri was going to school
And there
there.
was Leon Lamundi and
Wesley Lamundi.
would it be Elsie Young?
No,
No, one else. That was 1909.
but she took after Wesley with Stoffel.
Probably needed it.
Oh, she'd throw the racer at you.
Oh, my God.
Oh boy, you didn't know it.
You had to learn to dodge, did
You
you?
remember we were talking about Grace Finley? Well, they had, the elementary school just got out of hand, and so, he was the superintendent, I guess, and before him, probably. So he was sitting my dad, and he said, well, I know why you didn't get two, so they got two sisters. And Grace Finley led the elementary one, it was Richard Rawlins, and Harold Riggs, and Mrs. Huzzy had a daughter big horseshoe. And they just got out of hand. I was just in about the first grade. I gone down to the basement downstairs, and I come up from the stairs, going to my room. And the door opened, and Grace and brought Mr. Drawing right out. And she gave him a shove down the stairs, and when he laughed, her hand had his probably shut right in the hand.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, boy, I tell you, I walked right across that water. I didn't stop till I drink the water that day. I'll never forget that. But boy, in about 2 weeks, she had them thought they'd stay at least in the seat Monday. So what would happen today if that happened?
Oh, well, that was,
I didn't know, but it would give the teacher's name in here.
but that's what parents wanted though in those days, because I had the Delorias, if they didn't get good grades, he thought I should flip them. I didn't, but he
If you
thought I
didn't,
should.
they
He
come-
thought I should whip
We
them.
used to whip them when they got home.
Well, I know.
Kids crying.
Yeah, she came to school with marks on her back. One of the
There was
girls.
a woman named Kier.
Well, that's what they did.
Who was that Hollis Slade? Hollis Slade went with somewhere. Is that a Kier or?
Yes,
Kier?
it is here.
But she taught up there.
She did. I remember that name, but I don't remember.
No, she taught up there. Because Hollis was, you know, he didn't marry till he was, long years ago. I remember he was.
Do you remember Herb Bailey?
Herb Bailey? That was the doctor,
No, that was a brother.
the brother?
I think William Bailey was the doctor, wasn't
Where do you live?
he? Herb Bailey lived down beyond where I used to live, where Rob lived.
Yeah.
They had a farm down there, you remember the Bailey place.
Yep.
And here, the school director went around and took names of the families, the children that went to school. And here's Agnes Bailey and Charlotte Bailey and Murty Bailey's name.
Yeah.
1890 that was.
Murty taught up there, I'm sure.
Yes, she did.
Murty Bailey.
That was before my
Yeah.
day.
And this Dr. Bailey, I remember he doctored me when I had pneumonia when I was, I don't know, 10, 12 years old. He was
I've got his
just a regular old.
And then his wife's name was Lizzie Bailey.
I think the first teacher I had up at Spear School was Bessie Fairbanks.
Betsy Fairbanks.
Betsy Fairbanks.
We almost.
All those girls are teachers, weren't they?
Yeah, that's it.
And where did you go? Up where?
Spear School.
Where's the
And White Paul Nation. It looks to me like there ought to be a schoolhouse near East Greensboro, was it?
East?
Where's East Greensboro?
Where Pearlie lives, over in that area.
Probably gone.
Down on
And
the
the Bartlett.
Bartlett.
Well, would that take care of the one at the Four Corners? That was
I
one
don't
up there?
know, but according to the way these are laid out here, if you notice, they're all somewhat similar distance.
Yeah.
I'd think there ought to be one, near East Greensboro.
I believe it was.
Lavender still got it.
I wouldn't have been too far from the man.
Does anyone know, did we
No.
decide when the last year was that they had these schools around, they all went to the building?
Probably the Hazen
can't
School,
remember.
because that was
After
within my
that.
living memory.
The Hayden Road School was the last.
Yeah.
They had one grade up there for 2 years.
Yeah.
Bob was up there, and then he went to Bend at least 1 year.
Yeah, I think you had him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and see, he's the age of my brothers and sisters-in-law, and they all went to Hazen and the Bend when they
Yeah.
first came in the 50s.
Wouldn't the school in East Greensboro be up near Arthur Hills? I'm sure of it.
I don't know.
Heard them.
Is East Greensboro Mosquitoeville that Lewis Hill talks about?
I don't know. I've never heard of it.
No, I would think there ought to be two more here, the way these are placed. One at East Greensboro, one over near, I'd think near where Eastman's all is, but I don't know.
Eastman Saw.
Well,
If
that's
they had-
See, Robert, that would come near where the Baptist school up there.
No,
Over there.
where he lives now.
Well, I was telling in the other room that Julia Rutledge had a building and it was hitched onto her building. It was a schoolhouse, but where did it come from?
I don't know.
Where was it originally? Must have been up in there somewhere.
I don't know.
Wasn't it up near George Hill?
I suspected it was up in that section. Because I know she told about it and it got torn down a few years ago. I guess it wasn't any good anymore.
Well, what other things do you want to know? Because if we can't get this settled here, how many there were probably can. We probably can look it up and get it. So what else? Do you want to know what they taught back in the...
Yeah, that'd be a good...
Well, they taught reading and writing and arithmetic.
And that was it.
Children of the Hickory State.
and then they taught health and music, and one teacher taught it all. And whether you could sing or play piano or anything else, you taught music, whether you could do it or not, you know. And you had, they put a lot of time into writing. And it's the Palmer method. You remember the Palmer method where you did all of them?
Which I never could master.
Oh,
We had that in high school.
Yeah.
yeah. Do you know what we're talking about? Now, we ought to be able to find one of those old books.
You know, I've been trying to.
So I might have.
I
had to take it in normal school because my writing was decent. Didn't you
Yeah,
take writing?
Oh, yeah.
Penmanship normal
all
school?
over again.
Yeah,
Well,
we had to do
penmanship, you spent every day, you worked on penmanship.
Had to get your O's just right. And your A's just
In the
right.
book, it was blind.
Most of it was
just right.
Most of it, the army was.
And then you went to the F's and M's and...
And you made a
But
whole
the
lot.
writing, they certainly must start that book, and I was telling about old Stratton there. His penmanship was beautiful. Oh, she did.
You remember Jeanette? You remember him?
Oh, yeah, Arthur?
Arthur
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Robert. Don't you remember him?
Was he a teacher?
No. He was,
Oh, he was a...
Worked on
he
the
was a
road.
character.
He was a character,
He
okay.
did work for summer people.
And,
He was the
yes,
one that we told you, when Mrs. Summey wanted the flower bed, he wouldn't put in what you wanted. He'd always say pansies are nice or petunias are nice. And then he'd pretend he couldn't hear us. And Bernie came over and talking in just his normal voice, he heard every word, but Mrs. Summey, she'd yell her head off. Bernie could hear her over there, yelling to him to tell him how to... Like, he was a character. But he also was well read. I think he read almost every book in Gene Simpson's library at that time. He was well read.
well, at first, he, of course, you see, they, and the road machine, and they did an awful lot of handwork on the ditches. Well, John Kendrick, that was Jeanette's uncle, he hired him, worked him all the time. And you'd always see him digging a ditch somewhere. And they claimed that he stored away some of his money in tin cans. He used to live over here in the house that belonged to this Gene. And I've heard tell of that. They go in a fine place. They claim that he stored away some of his
Of
money.
course, a lot of people did that, and they, or at least they talked about it.
Right in the
Or they didn't think much of banks.
No, the clerk would like to.
Arthur Stratton's writing was great, is that why he came
Yeah,
up?
this is
Yeah, oh,
picture.
she did.
She's got a diary that I found of his, and she's got it.
Okay.
And
He was the one that, he was caretaker in the winter for Mrs. Perry over at the Henson Lake. And I don't know who was bothering around there, but anyway, he put up a sign and said, "Daniel, keep out," and signed her name. He was a character.
huh?
Arthur Stratton. Yeah, he's
I've
a
heard
distant
the name,
relative of
but I
mine.
never know it.
Really? My mother's a Stratton.
Wow.
Yeah.
He did all his straightening out here in that book there. You see why the library is out here, the East Grassbury there. Used to be, John Simpson had a store there, you see. And he used to work some for this John Simpson, and he'd buy his overalls and his
Salt Fork. He was always buying for a lot of people that sold Salt Fork in Australia in those days. Yeah, I still like it
Well, I like it
myself.
too.
I love a good meal of
Don't let nobody knows how to cook it.
What do you do? You fry it?
Yeah,
And then what do you eat with it?
applesauce and milk gravy with potatoes, mashed potatoes, and cream sauce or milk gravy. And it's more like, it's something like bacon, only it's not smoked, you know. But it will. Yeah.
Oh, you dip it in flour first, then you fry it.
Yeah.
Bernie, you remember Rosie and Mason's store at East Crashberry?
Mason's store.
And they moved the house over where Lyndall Bailey lives now. You remember when that old store was there? I remember them moving it.
No, I don't. I remember when they framed the barn there.
Bailey.
Bailey's there.
This is before
I
that.
went out there, Dad and I did. Dad took me out with the framing, and I mean, you know, and putting it up, the framework. Yeah. The whole
Well,
gang.
this was quite a big store.
I don't remember that store.
It was right near the blacksmith. You remember Henry McLaughlin?
Oh, premise, yes.
Well, this store was right near there, right?
God, right near there? Yeah.
And they moved it over across the field there to Lyndall Bailey. It's over there now. Lyndall Bailey lives in.
That's the house, and, yeah.
That Lyndall Bailey lives in.
You mean the one way up toward the Anderson place?
Yeah.
Up in there.
Griswold from Johnson came up and moved it.
Yeah, I do.
And Mary McDonald told me the other day, she remembered seeing them move it. We were going to school to East Crash Street that time.
Yeah.
I remember, and I guess you probably do, that we had a course of study from the state.
Oh, yeah.
And it outlined just what you had to teach. Now, I don't think they do that today.
No.
No. But I remember taking that book out every once in a while to check to make sure I got everything in.
It was wonderful to have that to follow.
Yeah, because if you got that all done during the year, well, you taught what you're supposed to.
In every grade.
Yeah, every grade.
Yeah.
Now, I wonder if we could get hold of one of those anywhere.
Yeah, I have one of those.
I should have a couple of them downtown, but they're packed away somewhere.
Well, someday when you're feeling real funky,
When I clean house, we do all that.
that would be, you want to write down the things you might want to.
I'll make a list of those things.
But I do think when those course of study would be,
I do.
and I don't
should
know
have.
if we can't find one, whether we probably couldn't get one
I
from the
wouldn't
state
think
anywhere.
Just well, I'd like, because I won't ever need it.
No, but I didn't know whether you'd find it or not.
I'll write it
Should be in the
down.
box.
I think it was a big advantage, like in social studies. You had some kids who had the same country twice, because when teachers went on their own and they taught, what they wanted to in social studies somewhat, well, then you might have a student come in who says, oh, I had that already in the other grade, and the year before. Well, with the course of study, you just fit year after year, and everything was, so you didn't, someone could come from another school and you'd be right where you were, just about.
You mentioned history and geography, but you taught those.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
They taught separately. The thing is, there was so little to teach in those days compared to what you have to teach today.
Well, we taught
There's less
manners.
history for one.
I thought there was an awful lot when I was in rural school, because I had to teach so many different grades, and then you had to teach science, where you rotated science and health, but then you had a special social studies, a special history class, and that started with the 4th grade, which was beyond that.
I always taught Vermont. For half a year, you taught nothing but Vermont.
That's right. That was it. And they didn't give you a single bit of material in school. And I got up at Hazen, there was a book. I had to go to the library and find everything. And that was amazing. And why they say half a year of Vermont and I'll give you one book. And of course, when we started to, when you started to, there was no reading readiness. There was by the time I was teaching, but the one thing that they didn't give us is any materials, and no workbooks whatsoever.
You remember Lora too?
Yeah, but that kept
We
going
had to have a program on the wall for our superintendent.
I started all Sunday afternoon, all Sunday evening to get ready.
He studied that.
You just work
I
all
don't
the
know whether
time.
I ever kept one or not.
Do you hear that, Willie? We had to have a program and have to have it up so that
many
when the
minutes.
superintendent came, he knew exactly. He had a copy so that if he wanted to visit your science class, he knew what time you were teaching it.
Right.
Which was kind of nice.
Yeah.
Because if you
The
could
program said what time of day you were
it
teaching
had
what.
it told, and we started at 9 o'clock and had 15 minutes in the forenoon, an hour at noon, and we got out at 4, and 15 minutes
but we
after we
had
got
that.
out at 4 o'clock, but that makes
Yeah,
just 6 hours, same as they do today, isn't it?
But we had that towards the end of my teaching too. We always had to hand in a program the first week or so we worked on our program, then he had to schedule so that when he came visiting, he wouldn't be able
And
to.
it had to be approved. I mean, he had to approve of it.
Yeah, yeah.
That, it would be good if we could find one of those. Isn't it strange how no one seems to think those things are important when you're...
I'll jot this down, see if I have an
Yeah.
old one, because I've kept, I've even got my first grade, the first write-in they ever did, you know.
Yeah.
And their little stories they wrote from the grades up, and the little booklets. I've got a lot of samples of those.
Can you show me those?
Well, I didn't even name English, but we had to, we certainly taught English.
Yeah.
And grammar and started in with storytelling and just oral and then written and...
Actually, we pretty well covered everything.
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
much, but you didn't have any help to come in and do any of this.
We didn't waste any time either.
And then when the village school was built, that means that everybody went to the village school from grade 1 up to 12? No. Okay. What happened? They still stayed in the outlying schools, and then
They kept kind of falling off one at
a time, because when I was in the 8th grade, some schools closed, and the school at Donald Gebbie and a few of those kids, all of a sudden they came to us that first year.
in the village.
In the village.
That would be the spear school. No.
I don't know what school, but some school that
Well, it was when
Probably the
the
Barton.
numbers got down, you know, so that say you had one teacher for 5 children.
Yeah.
They would close another
After
school.
it got below 7 in these districts, the state, you couldn't have
couldn't have a
that
school.
district school.
And they started consolidating all the schools.
Then they most always come to Greensboro, they drop it down.
Did the town ever have all the grades in there?
Or you move it
In that one
first aid.
school building?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Not in the village, but
No,
in
because you had the
road.
Because that's where I started in town.
Hazen was the last one to go.
Yeah.
I kept for quite a
Well,
while.
Spear School hung on for a long time, and I think,
Yeah.
I can vaguely remember even going to dances or parties or something up in the, up by Shatney's, whatever they call that one. That was one of the later ones too, North Greensboro.
Is that still there?
There's one right there.
Yeah.
Person on
Yeah,
the-
as you go down to the Bend Road, the
When the last
16.
teachers was
No.
not the baby.
No, it's
Oh,
over
yes, I
further.
remember hearing about her.
You
can see it.
You can see it.
I had 2 women for superintendents, and you don't see many women superintendents today, but 2.
You had 2 women superintendents?
Yeah, first year that I taught, a lady from Wolcott was superintendent, and then when I taught over to Christbury, Mary Bailey was superintendent.
Are they superintendents like just for the town schools?
No, it
Or were
was
they?
for several towns.
Just like now?
I think Mary Bailey just did Crashbury. She was principal at the high school, and she took on the job of, that was kind of neat, wasn't it? Because she knew what they were teaching until they got to her. I think that's kind of nice.
That was a fairly common.
Yeah.
The principal.
The earliest one I remember was Coles. Mr. Coles.
I remember him.
And then they had Burbank. And then it came down to
How I can't remember.
I remember.
From
them.
Burbank, it was Mr. Perron, wasn't it? Mr. Perron?
Mr. Perry.
Was next, yeah.
Did you have him do it?
Oh, I remember Norton Parent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think he hired me to Stanton, then they shifted district about that time, and so I worked under the superintendent.
And then there was
from Stanton.
Jenkins, Mr. Jenkins was.
I had Jenkins.
Yeah, I had Jenkins, that was my first one.
Jenkins.
After that, I think I'd be hard pressed to name them all. There's so many of them. Yes,
Well, I was surprised when I
but I would be able to add in, from time to time when I thought of them, just putting them down, you'd end up by.
Well, I was thinking you had to learn those multiplication tables and adding and subtracting. You didn't have any
I
calculators
know way
then.
back
You
when
didn't
Dad
have.
was school director, I think it was around 6 of the schools in the area. And they'd meet, the school board was here in Walden and so forth, and they'd have the man come in representing the company, and they would bid on it. And I remember when the school supplies came for the schools in town, boy, the books are heavy, and they'd send them to Bend, they'd take them off the train from the express office, And them boxes would be a good 6 feet long and as high as that and that wide. He used to go up and get Charlie and Maurice Goodrich and Guy Allen working. They'd take horses and wagons and go down. And they had pipe when they got up home with plank, and we put them in the room. And just before school opened, then the teachers, they knew how many students, and they'd pick them all up from the and we'd take a team and a buggy and take them to the school before they opened school. They had cars too, but we didn't at that time. Dad went in a wagon. But I remember that, but we did like it because the company that would send them, they'd always send my father, or they'd send him erasers, they'd send him colored crayons, colored paper, and chalk, and of course he didn't know, so we've always had it.
Yeah, sure.
It was company advertising, that's what it was.
There's some old books you had, I think. Teacher's Guide and Keith Youth Rural School. I was looking for some pictures.
I remember riding to school in a horse-drawn bus, like it wasn't called a bus, school wagon it was called, and the seats were on the side, just boards, you know?
Yeah.
And
Was it open wagon?
no, it had a cover on it. I don't think it was a hard cover, maybe canvas or something like that.
One horse pulled it?
As I remember it, it was.
The first school bus?
But you see, if you lived, how far was it you had to live from the school, and then they had to cart you? It
2
wasn't-
miles, wasn't it?
I think
I think
so.
it was 2 miles.
They carted us down from our
Then it
district.
was
If you
down
lived
a
within
mile.
2 miles, you had to walk.
I remember the schools that
And then these kind of windows with a first grader, that was pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they only did it up to the 8th grade too, Jeanette, because I can
Oh,
remember
yeah.
seeing the
Oh,
Hindus
yes.
walking
I
by
remember.
our house. That was much
I
further
remember when they
from the
voted,
high
whether
school.
in the town,
Yeah.
this town,
Yeah.
whether to cart the high school kids
Oh,
or
yeah.
not.
Yeah, I remember when they discussed it.
well, I know Walter Garvin had a section over that way, and
This
this
is the thing that had to
Earl
do with the
Hill's
state,
father
it was,
had the group from Greensboro.
this is guide and key for use in rural schools.
Sauls that lived up as you go in the Runaway Pond, Rod Acres. The Sauls lived there. I know he brought the school students up to North Greensboro. That's when
That looks
Mrs.
like
Brown
spelling, doesn't
went keeping house with
it? Spelling.
Yeah, this is handwriting
Larry.
and spelling.
she had 3 children
Yeah.
come in there. And then they kind of, somebody moved in and upset it. And then, who was the family way back, lived over on the Barrington place, had 2 girls. Garvin had them, and he had 3 of his own.
Barrington Place originally was a Fairbanks place, but I don't
Yeah,
know.
I know.
I don't know who lived that.
No, they changed after
Yeah, I
Mr.
know.
Barrington.
I know.
I can't remember these girls. And, they had 4 or 5, I remember. Because I went up to stay over with Earl one night, Earl Hill, my great friend. And I went back home in the Surrey. He had the Surrey. And, I never forget that. I thought that was going through.
With a fringe on top?
Yeah, the fringe, the whole way.
We had one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the way they got supplies to us was rather interesting years ago because they didn't think of buying any. But the superintendent would come over and say, well, how many do you have in the 3rd grade? And you take a list of everything. And then, oh, you need another history book, or you need another, there wasn't any thought of buying a set or anything. They just go off to another school and come with a worn-out book and give it to you. I mean, it wasn't completely worn out, and then if you had some extras, you'd take yours off, and next year
Yeah,
you might
whatever
be
you
short
didn't
one of
use,
that.
they took.
But, yeah, anything that you weren't going to use that year, it went, and if you needed more, they didn't go buy anything, just go to another school and grab a few and bring you those. That's how it went for your supplies. There wasn't buying anything. You didn't order. The teachers weren't asked either.
No.
If you wanted anything. You never had a thing to say about what you wanted for pencils or
No,
anything.
you were told.
You were just told and given the materials, and that was it. And you weren't given much. No workbooks whatsoever.
Did you have to use paper over and over, or did kids get?
No, but you had to be very
in
careful
those
of it.
days, I think we didn't have as much scrap paper. The waste paper baskets weren't chock full, let's say, each day.
The baskets weren't so big either.
No.
Well, they had paper, the yellow kind of.
Yeah,
paper,
there was
the
much
blue.
more saving,
It was,
much more saving all the way through.
Wasn't too much white paper on the old bag when you opened up them boxes and took it out, made big books and paper and crayons.
I
Took
remember.
to the other schools that, where the paper, they'd be in pad, that thick. That yellow paper.
The kids have to bring any of their own materials?
Hmm?
No,
No.
but they didn't go with the pencil and run it through the pencil sharpener.
No, you had a box with some holes in it, and each day you picked up the pencils. They put their pencils in the top of the box, and the teacher sharpened the pencils and had them ready for the next morning.
So
And
they didn't have a chance
if
to-
they broke their lead, they asked the teacher, she sharpened it.
Then
You
it saves on
you
pencils.
kept extra ones though, so you didn't have to do it.
Yeah.
Because you were
Oh, you had
continuing-
extra simples.
Actually, you were teaching without stopping
Well, that
all
was
day
something
long.
that-
When you were
So you
in
had to.
school, you had to.
That
Then you
was-
had the older ones help out with the
Springstead.
little ones.
And not only
Worked
that, you
out.
had the playground,
Quite enjoyed
you
it.
had the
She
lunch
was the
hour.
graduating mama's class.
You just had no time from the time
put a
you
lot of
got
work
there in the
into that.
morning until the school buses left at night, because you had to wait for school buses.
But the teachers couldn't be everywhere, and I can remember when we went home for lunch, then we'd come back, and of course it was a high school, everything was down in that building, and you had to run to get there, and no teacher ever seemed to see that if the high school kids are somewhere out there, naturally they plugged everybody in with snowballs, and you had to make your way through that to get to school. I mean, there were a lot of things of that sort that went on that I don't think anybody paid much attention
So
to.
you went home
And-
for lunch and,
Yes.
and who watched the kids, or did they
Oh,
all
I
go
mean,
home?
this was when I was a student
Oh,
down
okay,
there.
okay.
Yeah, oh no, it wasn't teachers.
I remember Goodrich brought my lunch to a hot lunch. I don't know why he
Oh, yeah.
did that, but I boarded at his
Oh, well,
place.
that's, yes.
Well,
And Mrs.
At Fred Goodrich's?
Fred Goodrich's, and he was the janitor. And every day, he would bring down this basket of hot, everything. It's
But
hot
the
with
kids
a
didn't have that.
clean napkin
Yeah.
over the top and all, you know, down there at school. I wondered why she'd
Well,
went to all
Bernie
that.
Bailey stayed with Mrs. Nora Marshall.
Mhm.
And I went down and got her, Mrs. Nora Marshall, put up the warm dinner, and she let me out just before noon, and I went down, had some
Picked up
bread, picked up her lunch.
Well, I tell you, we got a few specials.
Yeah.
Yeah. But as far as for the children, they brought their lunch. There was
Yeah.
no hot lunches at that time that I remember.
The pictures, right?
They either walked home for
We either
lunch or
went
they...
home.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember
Well,
that
well,
time
well,
that the lawyer boy walked on my car, and I said you'd have to bring your dinner in and eat it in my room for a week. And he wasn't about to do that. But I knew what he'd do, so I took his lunch the next day, because he was going to tell me, you see, he just go home for lunch, he didn't bring it. And I said, well, I thought probably that would happen, so I brought your lunch. Like that for a while.
Yeah.
Well, when did people go to other high schools? I heard stories of going to Morrisville and Borden.
Robert did, Robert
Yeah.
Willing.
And wasn't there a high school in
Dorothy.
town
Casper
here then?
Academy too, I think, somewhere.
Crashbury Academy too.
Most of them went.
There was a Wilson girl
And many went to the private schools.
Remember?
But there wasn't there a high school in town here?
up there.
No,
There was a
until-
girl.
22 or 20, 21. No, I don't know, 21, 22.
You passed
Yeah,
the
but it
8th
was
grade.
Well, you went to high school
First.
down here, didn't you?
Excuse me?
There were 2-year high school.
Well, then
two-
it was,
it was
must have
7 and
been,
8,
It was a 2-year
I
high
went here
school
in
first.
1819.
9th and
That was
10th.
just 2 years then.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then he went to Randolph for 2 years.
Well,
So-
Robert Willie could have gone
At that
here
time-
because
He
they
could
started, but he'd already made.
Wasn't there
arrangements to go
Wilson?
there.
There was a Wilson girl, wasn't there, Robert?
I don't
Huh?
know.
Because Robert Willie
And Dorothy.
shined up to her, and I know he was going with her all the time.
Well,
That's it.
there was a Wilson lived in the band,
Huh?
I think. I think there was a Wilson lived in
Well,
the band.
this,
Or else he ran the hotel, I'm not sure.
Well, there was a
But
girl.
it was no relation.
There was a girl,
Well, anyway, we can put that down,
Foster Gamey.
18, it was here in 1918.
Yeah.
What was?
Yeah.
The high school.
Yeah.
Okay, so
2 years
before
then.
that,
That was a 2-year school.
Yeah.
okay, then if you wanted to go more than that, you had to go somewhere else.
Yeah,
You
Oh, I
graduated
know,
what year, Robert?
25.
I know,
His was the
And that
first.
book tells which one.
4 years.
Which the last book.
Oh.
Mine was the
I,
first.
That book there
Third,
tells
I
which
think.
is the first
John
4
You
years.
were the first.
Yeah,
That,
Okay.
So when did you graduate?
1926.
I remember I
26,
went
that was
down
the first
to-
4-year class. So before that, people boarded,
Well, it couldn't have
Another
been
town.
because I graduated from high school here.
Yeah, you graduated.
1925.
well, there were some classes ahead of you that graduated from 4
Yeah,
years.
there were 2 or 3.
Yeah, I think, well, that
It's in
that
there.
booklet there.
Yeah,
will
it'll be
tell
in
you
that
what it is.
booklet.
I've got it. That one
Oh,
I've got.
yeah.
There was John Hygen Niner, you know, that
Yeah.
graduated in 1922,
Then there was a Matthews, can't remember who.
and George Colby.
Yeah.
From Harvard Academy must have been going then too, so they could have gone to
Yeah,
Harvard.
they could have gone to Harvard, but very few of them did.
They mostly went to Christchurch.
They went to
was the first
Christchurch
choice,
or
yeah.
somewhere.
how about Morrisville? I've heard of them going
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, well, Robert Willie, they have relatives down that way.
I think the family
They,
came from.
Pattersons, they had
Okay.
the Pattersons, the family.
So they went
so
with
they
Alice
went down
family.
there. He and Doc. I know Doc.
Well told about going out of town too, but I'm not sure
How
where.
about Johnsbury Academy?
She went out of town somewhere to school. Hazel Isle, I almost
Yeah.
think that was.
My
where-
mother went
Who
to
wants
St. John's.
coffee? I've got
I
some
think that was
coffee here
St.
if you
John's
want
for
it.
Dorothy.
Want coffee or want punch?
Maybe it was St. John's.
My mother went to St.
I'll have
John's.
punch.
The rest of them went to Christchurch.
Linden?
But there
Got
were
coffee
more
if
of
you
them
want
that didn't go anywhere than did.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
okay.
hardly anybody goes.
Yeah.
They would stop after 8th grade?
Oh.
A lot of them.
Lorna Davis and his sister went to Lindenville.
Yeah, then the kids all, the Davis children. all
George
went to
Davis's
Lindenville.
children both went to Lindenville.
Greensboro wasn't good enough for them.
Well, or else it was tradition in the family or something.
No, I think they thought they'd
No,
give them.
I think they went because they didn't like school.
That's
Had
right.
to get more something.
Well, they didn't like it because they didn't, they had their choice.
Yeah, their
A lot of
choice,
things.
yes.
I never
Yeah.
held it against anybody like that.
Oh,
No,
no.
thank you.
Mr. Davis was dead.
I've got a letter he
Some right
He
wrote.
here
was
anyway.
bad
Yes,
about
I can read you.
high school, even when the band school was built. My father and Dick Thompson spent a day and a half going through this area.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
You can laugh about Dick, but he was a good old soul.
Oh, I know he was.
He
I
was a
didn't have,
hard-working man.
I know he
And
was.
boy, in the band, you know, Davis, boy, they had them all buttoned up down there. And so they spent
Coffee?
a day and a half. So they
No, I've got
figured that
coffee
I
right
guess
here.
on the,
they'd had,
Okay.
Bodie was the engineer for state then. And they'd had him come up, and the band school was a shambles. It was just about like a barn. And it was 2-room
Was that the
schoolhouse.
old thing that they tore
Yeah, it's
apart?
out back there. And they had him come up and they figured they'd have a new heating system and everything, what they had to put into it was gonna be around $6,000. So they figured, and he told them after he'd done that, he said, the time's coming, they're not too far along when you have to have a school on the ground level. So the school board met and they decided that they would build a school down at the bend. Because the children, there's a lot of kids down at the bend. I remember when this high school up here, years, 2-3 years ago, I had any kids. I remember when only one child in Greensboro up here at the village went to school. And that was Will Miller's youngest daughter. They came from the bend. The last 2 years of the high school, they've been from the bend. We'd gone broke with no kids in Greensboro.
Yeah.
Seems
When I
so
was
good now to see kids in Greensboro. No,
Yeah.
there's no kids.
Oh, there
That's
weren't
true.
any kids.
That's true for a long
They were
time.
scattered
Do it
around
as
in
a
the
family.
other
Yeah,
areas.
the only, when I was young, there's only families that were in Greensboro was the Willies,
Thank you.
the DeBrooms, the Kings, the Drowns, and aside from that, and that was quite a lot for them. But after they got out, there wasn't no kids whatsoever.
You
No
want
kids,
coffee or some punch?
no thanks.
So-
At the Ben I had when I was
You
teaching
don't?
first and
No.
second, I
You
had
aren't
28
drinking
kids.
coffee?
Oh, punch,
And they
yeah,
were
I'll
just
have a little
shucking
punch.
around.
I
was
like
downstairs,
coffee,
and
but
it
I
was
can't
so
drink
chilling
it.
that the upstairs had to be
And,
closed and added some, downstairs.
So they had the meeting, and boy, it went over big. They voted to build a new school down
Down the Ben.
to Bend. It went over big.
And that's the school that's there now?
That's the school that's there now, that's built in 34 or 35. I'd like to know about what it costs, but
Yeah, delicious.
it wasn't too bad then. But boy, I'm not saying this to
Here's some
Mr. Down,
napkins there
Mr.
if you
Davis,
want
because
one.
he was one of the best slack men we ever had. He
help
just,
yourself.
that was his attitude. He had just as much right to it as my attitude the other way. But boy, they didn't hardly anybody in the band vote for that school. Just the people up around here.
Isn't that
And it
funny?
was more or less they thought, well, they've been paying their taxes to help run our high school up here. They needed a new school, and they just felt, we're going to see to it that our taxes go down to build them a school. And that was the attitude that they took up around here, and that's what they done.
So the people in the village were not for the school? Or
Not so many in the band. There's quite a few, but there's a lot down that way because they
They
figured
did
that
not want the school.
they figured they could just fix up the old one, and keep going. Now, I wouldn't say they're all that way, but there's a big, there's a
Big majority.
quite a big majority right in the band. A lot of them didn't, probably didn't do their dad do much, they didn't doubt. But when they voted, somebody must have died because it went over
Yeah.
there.
That's a campus.
And then after when they got around to close that school, the Bend people really wanted to keep it open.
They
It
want
was
to
the
keep it nice,
Greensboro
always
school,
central.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, they really
We've
wanted
had
to
a
keep it school. 'cause
really
we had
good
nice
school.
there
They
those
talked
days
about
when it does now next
kindergarten.
door.
We've had kindergarten kids going down there for
Mrs.
8
Bernie is in here.
for many years. I remember when the Myers overlived all the way my
That
wife.
was a long time ago, I don't know, I must have
But
been
the one
first grade.
Walt Views
Got
played.
all the names on it?
They
No,
brought
I
their
haven't, I
kids to
should.
the band and they stopped and
If you
they.
can
But I know who
remember,
they
if
are.
you can
This-
remember.
This
Minister's
is
kids
Annabelle
down there.
Hartson.
They had 3,
I
4, they
remember
had
her.
6.
This is Roy
They
Coggin,
took
Bernie,
them-
my brother Rob, and Shirley
Time
Thompson,
they were
John
having a big
Gebbie.
time up here, and they figured they had to have a kindergarten. I
I
went
guess
down
that's
there.
Claude Coggin,
Mrs.
this
Bumman's
is
gone,
Roy
went up to see
Coggin,
her.
Morris, me,
There's 2
Drutter,
going,
and
there's
Frank
never been less than
Thompson.
2, there's been
Grace
4 and
Fairbanks.
3 kids going to kindergarten there right along. So now, we're going to kindergarten, we've got to them in the next 2 years. So we have our school set, and I asked her about the rating. They've had an A rating right there, right along. The only thing is now, they've got to do something to the furnace and fix up a few things, but there's nothing that can be done for that. So in the long run,
Yeah. it was
that's
better.
why the kindergarten should be down at the Bend. A lot of them are right up here, but that's all right. The Bend is part of Greensboro, and we've got the building there, why start building something new, use what we got, because it's a good little school. The surroundings is too bad, and in the way, down to the Fort
They can be
Wilhelmina.
cleaned up there.
Could be cleaned up. I thought the state was going to get it cleaned up about 2 years ago, but they haven't as yet, but they make a nice little playground. It's a nice built school. It's a nice little
Yeah, but
school.
if I remember right, back when they first started in there started there, that a lot of us took a hole and cleaned it up.
You mean
And
the
that's
school?
one trouble today.
Well, that was when,
Spending too much
they
money
called
on
them retarded instead of,
Special
kids
ed.
for their
Special
playing like that, don't do enough to help do themselves.
but a lot of people worked on that
Oh, yeah.
building when,
Oh,
when
yeah.
we were getting that ready for the special education.
That's
It must
right.
have been empty quite a while. didn't
Bernie
it?
did a lot
It
of work
was
down
quite a
there.
while.
I
Before
spent
the
many
special
hours
ed.
down there.
Sure.
And
For
they put
nothing,
in
by
new
God.
furnace.
Yeah.
They put in,
Painting and cleaning up and like that for them.
So it was a
The
school
fire
for the
department's
retarded
too
for a while?
efficient. They
Oh, yeah.
almost cleaned up the building
yeah, I
beyond
taught
it once.
the
Huh?
retarded for 3 or 4
Well,
years
it
down
was.
there
There was
before
a
I
few
went to
years
Newport.
there that
Now-
it was.
That was started, I think, from, Mrs. Travis, the Travises in Hardwick had a child.
Yeah. But the-
And she helped get that started because
Well,
she
the
wanted
Grange
to.
were-
The Grange
Mary
did-
Maryland,
Oh,
the
yeah.
Grange did an awful lot.
Yes,
The
they
Grange
did.
did a lot.
Huh?
The Grange did a lot.
Yes, they
Maryland,
did.
was it-
Yeah.
But I think it was because we had a need for it, and
Oh,
as
yeah,
I
so
remember
what?
it, the Travis,
And the
she did.
kids commuted to it?
Kind of a group
From
of
Hardwick
young
and
retired
Greensboro.
guys
Yeah.
taking-
Walden or up in Center.
There was one from.
Yeah.
We had some from Perron, one
Yeah.
from Dallas, from Marshall.
Boy, I remember the year we got the governor up there to eat with
Yeah.
us.
Which
That was
governor?
quite something.
Which governor?
Oh, it was,
Emerson?
No, the
No,
one
it
that
was,
Davis wasn't it?
no, it was the one before,
Grand Isle.
isn't straight, I can't ever tell
Before who?
when I want to.
Rose did.
I'll tell you in a
Glad.
few. Don't hurry.
There was Keyser Hoff and Snelling.
It was the hot.
Yeah.
It was something
And
when
here-
they came back to our school too. No, I had quite a big run, and then all of a sudden when they closed that, I got 2 more. And, you know, it's difficult for them to fit back into a regular school. And I always remember one, I won't say his name, but one time he was quiet though, it wasn't going to cause any commotion, but very, very quiet. He went up to the window and grabbed a bee by the wings, and he came over to another child, stuck out his arm over, and I wasn't so quiet. I'll never forget that.
Well, I remember we had a program that afternoon, and they showed off all the things they could do. They had a dance, and they sang, and they had, but downstairs there were bars where they could walk across with their hands, you know. And The thing I remember most was the guards that, not they were for everyone guards, but what were they came with them? Don't you know they were all dressed up in their uniforms and that drove his car, the
Because
chauffeur and that.
he had a police driver.
State police and
yeah.
all his entourage. Well, I'm telling you, that made an awful impression on everyone. And the parents came.
Laura,
The kids, I think, were very happy. They made
I
a big
think they were
shock to
pretty-
them when they came back to the regular school.
Yeah.
when you were teaching, did Florence Haskin ask you to have the children write the effects of alcohol and tobacco?
No,
I've got those letters.
you have.
Yes, I have. And 2, 3 of my youngsters got prizes. I know Amy Hill got a Pollyanna book,
Mhm.
and Harold Willie got something. And I got those. I wished I'd brought them. And they were good writers too. Almy Shatney was a wonderful writer. But
I think
Florence
Bob has a
Haskin,
retarded child in his family.
Oh, he does,
Oh.
maybe.
This is the mid-60s, I think he was governor.
But he was very nice with the kids. I remember he went around talking to all of them, shaking their hands and talking to them, and they were so happy.
Oh, yeah.
They had written this letter asking him to come.
Well, that's why he came. I wondered.
Oh, yeah, he was asked to come. The governor.
One of the governors had a,
That's
one or
something
two
you'd always
retired
remember, I
children.
think.
I think he's the one.
We got our name in the paper, and that was something.
Yeah. Well, some of the kids would always remember it would be something
What that
special.
governor's in?
Salmon, maybe?
There was,
I think it was.
I think it
Maybe.
we had all kinds down there. We had autistic kids, we had kids that set fires in the bathroom, and you had to watch them every time they went to the bathroom, they'd set fires. And then we had some that wouldn't even talk. I mean, you couldn't get them to say a word.
But you had no special training for this, right?
Well,
Yes,
no, not really. And still,
had
I
a
got
little bit,
some
yeah.
out to,
Yeah.
I had testing
Yeah.
out
But then,
Lyndonville.
yeah. When you started teaching, though, did you ever have any child that needed some of these special things?
Oh,
needs?
yes.
And that
If I
somehow-
had had it then, you see, you'd had a lot better understanding. You wouldn't have been so abrupt. You'd have more patience. You didn't understand in those days, those early days, that there was something wrong with the child, maybe, that needed special attention.
What
Did
I-
you have to take training along with your teaching down there? Because when Wanda and I got in there, we did. We had to take, we didn't have the training then, but we had to be getting it
Yeah,
while we
be
were
getting
teaching.
it,
yeah.
I wondered if they did that with you.
I got some out there to Lyndonville, the year that because you see, I only had 2 years of training, and then I went to summer school a lot, made up third year, and then I went to, I was 50 years old before I got my degree, and there I taught for 30 years.
Yeah.
That was a one.
Little
Jackson was the one that Robert Willie was.
Oh,
But
Well, she
somehow,
was
the
great
early
friend.
teachers years
Huh?
ago
She
had
was
to
not
handle,
great.
if you had a
Oh,
child
yeah.
who came in who couldn't talk, you had a child who was stiff, you had to handle all these situations. And I remember like Delia Kimball having one who you couldn't understand a word that child said. And yet, I remember having her say, now put your tongue this way, and she'd take time during recesses, and her own recesses, noon hour, and that child didn't like it a bit, but later on I said, well, listen, now today we can understand, and it's because she took all this time that, she could have gone out and had coffee, never mind you, but she took all that extra time just to help you to talk and be able to be understood. And so sometimes the children didn't realize that they thought, well, that teacher's awful mean, she's making me do this in my recesses. But actually, she helped him so that he could talk and he could understand. But you had to do it with no particular guide. You just did it on your own.
Some of them, it would take years to get them so they could read first grade.
Yeah.
But now the Tangy girl could
Well,
read
last time you
anything,
were in
anything,
the
but she
house,
didn't understand what she was
no,
reading. But she could read it.
Yeah.
But she didn't understand.
Then, of course, you got the problem with all the kids coming in with the French language, too, and how, that's something else to face. If you have like 4th grade and you have half the class in the 1st grade that can't say, or, can't.
I just never understood, except that almost all those French Canadian kids were very bright kids.
Oh, yeah.
Otherwise, I don't know if they would have survived in that.
I don't know how we could survive, I really don't.
I would have thought they'd been most unhappy in a strange place where they
Did
couldn't
you give them
understand.
bilingual education? Did
Well,
you
I
speak
went to
French?
school myself like that, and I think the first thing we knew anyway, we were talking at home English, and my mother and father didn't like it very well, but on the other hand, they had to encourage it for a little while, but once they got going a little while, then it was always English, and never mind the French, we talked French to them, but among ourselves, it got to be all English. And that wasn't exactly what they wanted either, but they had to go along with it, because what else could you do?
Well, I think it was pretty, that most of them, most of those kids taught both languages, and I think that was wonderful.
It was more difficult for the oldest. The oldest child in the family, it was more of a shock too, but the next one, you see, heard that child saying things and rhymes and whatnot, and so they had a feeling for it by the time they got there, and it wasn't quite that difficult. But not having any reading readiness and being stuck right off into reading, I don't know how they can do it, because I know I taught reading readiness, and some children, it's all they can do to be able to read. In fact, some of them won't be reading until, January or March, and, well, we had to do it right off
but
the
they
bat.
caught up before the year, and that's why, as I say, they were very bright kids, so I don't think they could have, but it seemed to me that most of them were very bright.
I remember my first year up in Stannard. Mr. Shepherd was my school director. He came down one day with his spyglass, I guess you call it, magnifying glass, and he said some of my youngsters had lice. So we took each one into the hall, and you should have seen that old man going over their heads.
Well, that was a yearly thing.
You
You don't hear so much about it now.
No, yes, we had a lot of it. Yeah, we had a lot of it. Oh, yes. I had a lot of it.
3 years ago,
Yeah.
an awful number.
Oh, yes, most all, and the teacher would get the lights too, before you got through, you'd get them
If you
to.
didn't, you thought you did, and that was.
Well, you got pretty close to kids, when they were bending over, and next to their heads, you could get pretty close, and on clothes too.
My theory about schools nowadays is the fact they
Oh,
can't
man,
come back to school.
They did.
They
You know,
can't.
it's an awful.
Oh,
Not with the bus.
They have to go on the bus.
Yeah, they have to go on the bus, so you don't
But
take them
if
out.
a child needed extra help, you could keep them after school.
Yeah.
I used to keep them after school and then take them home. But I wouldn't want to do it every day.
No, you wouldn't want to make a habit of
When
it.
they had a problem, they could be helped.
Sure enough.
Yeah.
And so it wouldn't get worse and worse and worse as it
Yeah.
went
And
on.
then they talk.
And so often they don't get that help.
So.
I remember, one of the girls in North Greensboro, to be,
And every come back, when they come back with them, they got a
Salt.
glass,
she broke her leg or arm or something, couldn't come to school anyway, she was out for,
They
2 or
couldn't
3
get up
weeks.
out of that.
and that was the winter time,
So-
and I went up
Of
there
course, Mr.
almost
Gordon had
every
a
night
prank.
to help her.
Got in
But
there,
they
he
were
couldn't
so
get
appreciative.
3
It
weeks
was
for that.
nice, because they were very appreciative of the whole thing.
Did any of you teach when you went to the, when you got meals at people's houses, or you would make regular visits to people's houses? And then, regular
I never
Sunday
went at
meal
mealtime,
type
I
thing?
don't think, unless I was invited once in a while for meals, but,
Or coffee after
You
school.
mean boarding?
No, I was thinking more like I've heard about teachers sort of became part of the community, and they were almost
they did in
expected to
Oh,
eat
they boarded
and
at
almost
this house.
eat with the parents of every child. It was one time during the year. I just wondered if
At
that
the
was.
Bend, we had,
Well,
yes.
I
At the Bend, there
remember
was a
coming
lot
up
of
to
that.
your house at one of your children's birthday, we were quite often invited for a child's birthday that we had in school for a meal, and ice cream and cake afterwards, or a party. Yeah, we were
So you were
invited.
much more a member of the community than
Yeah.
teachers are now. They just
Well,
don't
in
do-
those days, if you didn't, you had to participate and live in the town.
You had to live in the community.
Oh, yes,
You had
that
to-
was, that was understood. You didn't live in
And did you have
Craftsbury,
rules
teach in
of behavior
Greensboro.
that teachers didn't do?
Huh?
You have rules of behavior? Because I've
Oh,
read
yes.
old rules where teachers are not
Oh,
allowed to
wow.
be seen with a
You
man
didn't wear
if they're not
miniskirts,
married.
that's for sure. And you didn't wear slacks in those days
No.
either.
Yeah.
No, you didn't wear slacks.
Mhm.
No, when I went to normal school, they told you about wearing hats and stockings and gloves, and they had little teachers. They're teaching, I remember the first time, everybody about, the car was full of girls, and all of a sudden everybody took their hats and slung them to the back, and after that there was no more hats. I mean, there was hats for a little while, but you don't remember wearing hats too long either, do you, in Burlington? When we first went to conventions, we just thought we had to.
Directions, yeah.
Yeah.
Hats.
As teachers.
As teachers,
Oh,
that's where we
yes.
were supposed to appear.
Yeah.
You didn't
Where
wear
at-
high heel shoes.
You mean at school?
But you did wear corsets.
When you went,
Yes.
when you went to meetings or
You held it
Burlington, you
yourself.
had to dress, yes.
No, Margaret
Yeah.
did the course in elementary education, and her teacher. And she stand up in front of the class and we were told to stand up straight and all sorts of things.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Just,
yeah.
in training.
Yes, yeah, they trained you for.
And so she
It's
knew.
surprising the number of teachers around here. One time, 4 or 5 years ago, I was in a town meeting. I sat there and I just written them up. The people in the audience sat and waited to us.
Yes.
So,
But there was one while there, they wouldn't hire anybody that was married, wasn't there?
Oh, yeah.
Spell
That's right.
that,
Oh,
too.
yeah.
Yeah, you had to be single.
Yeah, my sister was awful mad at me because she wasn't married and I wasn't. I was teaching down here. And I guess she must have had a hard time getting a job, but she was really angry with me. I wasn't supposed to be teaching.
Waking up,
And
yes.
that was in the Depression probably, when, there were no jobs and a single, I don't know how I happened to hang on to it, because in those days you didn't.
And probably a man would take priority over a woman and a single one over a married woman.
Most
Not
of
too
them are
many men
women.
in the grade
No,
school.
Most of them
no,
were-
women, most
Oh,
of them.
That's more
You weren't
common
supposed
lately,
to
I
go where they sold beer or anything like that, remember that? That's another
Oh,
thing
yeah,
that
that
they
was
told
another
us.
one.
Oh, you weren't allowed to be seen drinking,
No. Oh, no,
smoking,
Oh, no.
Oh,
dating.
Well, dating was something else, but at
You
least the
better not be
drinking and the
seen with
smoking.
questionable people either,
Yeah.
with bad reputations. You were the sort of person of the company you kept, They judged you by the company you kept.
And they thought that we would influence the children. They didn't realize that really you don't influence children that much. You really don't at school because they're much more influenced by their home life than they are. But they thought we would, this would go over and the children would start imitating us. Well.
I always thought they had a beautiful advantage, the French that came down here with their children went to the school here. They learned the English. And it must have been so hard for them because when they went home, they were, I know the Perrons, especially the lawyers, they all spoke the French language. They did for years, right along.
Well, it was a good thing that their parents did insist,
know it.
because they
Yeah.
So
learned
they
the
had the
languages.
advantage of all
Yeah,
part of that.
they
So
did.
many times they had two.
I remember spending 2 winters down at East Charter trying to learn French. And I didn't speak it very well, but I could read it real well.
Well, I'm always very happy I know how and I can understand French. I don't speak it, very intelligently. So I would say, really that, well, but on the other hand, you can turn to the channels in Canada and sometimes you hear it even news because there's about, how many countries? Isn't it about 50 countries in the world?
It's a pretty
that speak
language,
French?
I think.
A lot of them do.
Yeah, a lot
I
of
guess
them.
English is the most prominent second language.
Oh, yes.
French used to be the
It's a-
international language.
It's a beautiful language, I think.
Yeah, I turn to the
Good
Canadian
music,
station,
too.
I don't understand it, but
They
every
have
once in a
good
while I
music.
get a word,
Yeah. And then when I went to France, you can understand everybody very well. They have slight changes in some of the vocabulary, but still you can understand. You go to a movie and you really know the whole story.
Well, how much difference is it? There's a difference between your
It's just,
French and the Canadian French.
there isn't that much. It makes you think of, what about you hear someone like the Queen in England? No, she's got a different accent than we have.
That's right.
Well, there's not much more different than that.
There isn't too much.
No, there isn't that much. In the United States, look at if you come from the South,
Oh,
yeah. It's different than ours. And it's the same way. You can really understand them very well. There are a few, since I never went to school to learn French. So,
Well, that's our pronunciation, but I was
Yeah.
under the impression that there was quite a little difference between the French and the Canadian
No.
French.
But now you
Canadians
mix
don't
up English with French, you
Yes.
use both languages all in one sentence.
yes.
When did most of the French come down here? Turn of the century?
1915 to
Yeah,
20.
Yeah, and then,
in that area when your parents came.
who were the people that came before that? I mean, that was the French. Now, was it the...
There's
what?
also a little Portuguese influence.
Yes.
I don't know when they came, but the Scotch came in about 1850.
1850.
Some
Who were the
before, some
first
after.
ones?
Some
in
before,
vicinity.
some after.
Yeah, who were the very first
Barney
ones? Were they
Allen was a
from...
Scotchman,
They
wasn't
were,
he?
most of the
What was
early
he?
ones were
From
from
England?
Connecticut.
Connecticut.
Well, he might have been.
Or that
Barney.
one.
They always said he did, because of the
His
Scotch
songs, yeah, but I always thought he was Scotch. But maybe
Atherton
Well, he
is,
came
right?
from English descent. I've got that trace.
Were the Scots the Presbyterians?
Yes.
And so out there, so the Urys and the Youngs
Yes,
and all
that's all.
those out there
That's
are
right.
the,
Oh,
They were the Scotch Covenanters.
and boy, they were
They
really,
became
they
the
knew how to
Presbyterians.
farm and they knew how to,
boy, they were.
boy, they really
Right.
were,
Well, they still do. Look at those
Still do,
farms
I
up
know.
there.
yeah,
They're
yeah,
beautiful.
yeah.
They were
Is
very
Atherton
conservative.
Scottish too?
They were great.
Not.
They were
Irish?
great
Irish?
for religion and they
Bernie?
back
And you
in
had-
churches.
Are you Irish?
they were-
What are you?
What's Atherton?
Both the Irish and French.
So you're not part of the Scottish invasion?
My grandmother was French.
John, going back to building the schoolhouses, I've got an interesting letter that George Davis wrote when they wanted to build a new school down here in Greensboro. I should have brought it.
Is that the grade school?
Yeah, I believe so.
Because he fought that one too. He
Yeah,
fought that as
yeah,
well as the
he
high
did.
school.
But
The
it's
grade
very
school that
interesting.
Victor built?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
It's the
interesting.
late 50s.
I can't remember when, but I had it.
So you said that the schoolhouse, or somebody said that the schoolhouse where the Bartons live now was across the street from
Right?
where it was?
You know their road in there.
Yeah.
Used to be set right over across.
Where are their houses?
Toward Cannons.
No.
Toward
When
Cannons.
the road,
On that
that's just to set, just across the driveway.
Yeah, because Bernie
On
wanted
the
to
other side.
help me with,
Oh, but it was down on the same driveway. It
yeah.
wasn't up by Cannons, it was down on the same driveway, but on the
So
other
just as in, just across, right in the corner there. it was.
Wasn't there a point when that road down there didn't exist though? It came through here instead?
Yeah.
So that schoolhouse is after that, after this road was
There was
built?
a winter road down there
Yeah,
for 2 years before they had summer road. Johnny Black told me.
okay.
The road from Harrison Wilson down through there and by Knox's down there.
Yeah,
And then this road through here.
yeah.
And he wanted to give it up. There was a fellow by the name of Kona lived here. He and his boy there, his wife was died, and he had some money, and they tried to get him to help out. He wouldn't help out.
They used to have dances
You
in
want
Black
me to
Schoolhouse,
hear?
I remember.
Oh, this
Yeah.
is called the Black Schoolhouse, okay.
Used to go that
And that was
way.
built then after that road
What's
came
that?
through?
Back in
Because
the-
that's where it is, okay.
Well, no, because it was down there 2 years before the road, it had a winter road, but no
From
summer road.
Highland
And
Lodges.
the schoolhouse was there already?
It was there.
See these row maples here? don't
Yeah,
you?
I know.
Okay, see that come out up through
I see
his.
Oh, there's an old cellar hole down,
Uncle George lived there.
Yeah,
where,
yeah.
Where the
where you
cannons?
come up the hill.
Yeah.
He used to talk about.
Where they used to be a school, where the schoolhouse used to be before it was down.
Yeah.
On Cannon's driveway?
And you see here.
Parking.
No, but I mean, where you come across, you know, you come up the hill from Highland Lodge, over here, the ski trail I'm talking
Yes.
about.
Yes?
Well, the lower part of that hill, when you get almost to the bottom of the hill, there was an old cellar hole when we came there, it was still there. I mean, you
Really?
could still see that, and there was a big maple tree there.
Down there.
And that we were told, blacks told us that the schoolhouse used to be there instead of what we
So
call,
it was on this road?
yeah,
Oh, okay. And
the
then-
first, and then they moved it.
They moved it to that road
Well, they
as
didn't
a
move it, but they
schoolhouse?
built one down there. I don't know if they moved it, but they built one.
They moved
And it-
them a lot, didn't they? I
Yes.
know.
They may have.
Seems like they moved buildings everywhere.
Well, I know,
Just
the
every building-
schoolhouse, they used to be like in the village before I come to village. The schoolhouse, from Upland, that's, the schoolhouse is right in front of Lakeview Inn. In the old cellar hole, right, because we had that.
Isn't that the
Yeah,
firehouse
I always
now?
had to watch the bailiff.
Yeah.
Big ticket stayed there. Then the schoolhouse came at the corner, so what's the old lawn? There's a schoolhouse in that one.
Yeah.
That's a town hall, you mean the town hall lawn?
Yeah,
That's
Yeah,
the
well, that was
Grange.
the early townhouse.
that's their only town.
The first town hall they ever built, and then they moved it into
Well, I
the
thought there
Grange
was a
Hall.
schoolhouse in there. I asked Carol one time, why was the schoolhouse, I would thought that the schoolhouse that was up at front of Lakeview Inn was probably the one they used for the fire station.
That's what I've heard.
But she said it wasn't.
Oh, what do you think, Ralph?
So I called her up and.
I don't know, but I
She
suppose
said
the one that he says in front of the inn was right on the corner by Steinman's, just below Perron, by those softwood trees there. That's where I thought the first schoolhouse was. It might have been right opposite.
There's a map though in the
Well, it's
of the
down this
50s
way,
where it
but
shows
pretty
where the
right now,
schoolhouse is.
Because,
What's the schoolhouse where Harrison lives now, next to Mary Young's? Marion Wayne Young's, there's a schoolhouse
Well, that's
there.
the spear school.
That's the
When they
spear
moved it
school.
though, that used to be right on the road, just
Okay.
where you go down into Runaway Pond, I mean, in that hollow, and then they moved it way up next to the woods. It's been
Okay.
moved.
Haven't had another one. Those are awfully good. How many counties?
My daughter was the town hall building that became the Grange Hall, was that ever a schoolhouse?
They are.
Not that I know.
You don't have to put in
I've
them?
never heard that.
Well, maybe, I don't know.
And, cornflakes.
Oh,
Good.
that's what makes them so chewy. They're very
No,
good.
it's not.
I love chewy.
You're gonna have one of these, you better, otherwise I'll feel that you don't take my cookies, all right?
Oh, Bernie, that wouldn't, Bernie, that
Not
wouldn't be
really.
Myra Chase
Now,
that
before I
taught
forget
over
it, will
there
you
that
tell
you're
me,
speaking about, was it?
What are they going
Myra
to do
Chase?
with that map? I mean,
And
what,
she was,
how is it gonna help the town? Do they think there's some land that is taxed?
One time
Is
too,
that the idea?
remember?
And she'd take her slipper off and use it if
Yeah,
she had to.
yeah.
Just come to me now.
You've been reading about what.
My brothers went to school to her and they
Yeah,
had,
but that's up in the
Yeah.
Gore.
Well, you
Her
have
husband
that same
Frank
sort of
Chase.
thing everywhere.
Yeah,
I
They are
think so,
doing
Frank
it.
Chase.
yeah,
They lived at the head
I
of the
don't
lake.
know.
I
They
used to
make it
I
a
wondered what
fact.
started it.
yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, I think that they do.
She was a good teacher
Oh,
too.
they are,
Oh, yeah, he was.
yeah.
I think these
Yeah.
town things are going to happen for everybody, but, they might think that there is some that, well, if it's passed through 16 hands,
Yeah,
you tell where
well, I should
the
think it would,
school lands are, or the church lands, and I can claim, well,
Yeah.
I've got them on my place, and the next person says, well, I've got them on my place, the same one we're referring to, and who's gonna say what's what?
and I was telling you that, you know, a long time ago, when the road was here instead of down where it is now, someone told us that probably, when they changed that road, that probably we lost land on this farm because the road came this way, and probably some of the land that's on Barton's really belongs to
There's
this
no
farm,
road.
not that anybody cares,
I
but,
tell you who told us that, now it's Rob told us that. Yes, it was Rob.
yeah, that's right. He said, if you look it up, you'll find that,
And there is
Barton's
an
has
old
some
road
of your
there.
land on this, when they moved
Right
that
out
road.
by Red.
Of course,
Well,
you
records
gained the
said
road.
Used to be there.
At the same time, you
Okay,
gained
so
that
just,
road.
what good is it anyway? It probably's a little piece that is the amount that, but, I'll bet there are a lot of little pieces maybe that.
Oh, I expect that.
Well, even
Be
when we had
interesting,
changed
won't
hands
it?
with our farm, we've been calling it 200 acres, and the son town had 2. And when Arthur got his deed, he only had 160. Apparently somewhere they had
Up here,
subtracted the
I
land
think,
across the road or something. And they didn't refund us, of course, on any of our taxes.
No, I bet they didn't. We are,
I had mine surveyed 2 or 3 years ago, and I was about 13 acres less than I thought I had.
yeah,
But the farm up by your dad, what? You did? You were sure?
Well, I didn't have what I'd been calling it, and what the town had been taxing me for.
And ours wasn't surveyed, it was just a
It was
case of
about
records.
13 to 15 acres.
Well, for what we've sold off here, the way it looks now, that this is gonna run over.
Could be,
Well, it
The
might.
way it looks,
It might.
it's gonna run over.
but they always said plus or minus.
one of the coffee.
Yeah.
I want some coffee. I'll bring
Robert,
it.
how are they gonna do on this, map, that the list is on? How are they gonna get that, huh?
Okay, fine, thank
I
you.
don't know.
Are they gonna get that with the same they did with the soil conservation or what?
They may, I don't know.
Airplane business or what? Because you see, the map's there, the fields are all
Yeah. I know.
number of acreage in the fields and you know. I'm wondering because Judas Creek was going to cost $11,000 to get that done.
I don't think it's that accurate either. Well, of course it's accurate, but I mean, you can't tell where the lines are all the time.
Well, I think it's
You
got
want
to
some
be
drink?
pretty darn accurate in order to cost that amount of money.
Yeah, I think it better be.
That's what I think.
Well, I think when they do the line work, I think they should have a representative of each of the parties. I'll tell you, the first time they had that, we noticed the plane was flying up over the house and stay there, you know, fly a little way. Now it's getting the government, got the Newport and all
Yeah.
the colors. We had, my land that was this side of the road, it was Mr. Tolman, and then they had that on mine. But I'd always hoped sometimes I could get it, so I didn't say much. The time that they Gaussies bought the cook place up there. It was right in the middle of nowhere. The snow was as deep as it was now. They surveyed that place. I remember Mr. Dolores come running down, he'd been over to the woods. You want to see my dad? And you see Dad? He said, have you been over the backwoods? Our backwoods? Well, he said they got flags all the way up and down the brook. Well, now you go across the brook, and you went on to Dolores before you went on the land of ours, and then the cook.
No, it's not.
They didn't know no more where you couldn't have known it.
Rock and rock,
And they
that's
come
different.
to that brook,
The big rock isn't rock
and
and
they
rock.
figured that that was the line, so they put the brook up, and that went up towards Mercy. Well, that was all washing.
Well, you know where
And
Foster
I had a little
Babcock
piece
used
of
to
land in
live. You
Tarrick,
do,
and
well, this rock is, you go across
habits.
their field, right in
Down
front of
below
the house,
Habits
go over
there.
and way down the woods, and you
And I
come
come
this
up in
old,
Tarrick, and I see
huge
that
rock, and there's a
flag
ladder
on
that
the
goes
side of
up
the
on
road,
top,
and I got out and looked,
and it's
something
pulpit
about
rock.
Habits.
Is that what they
And
call
said
it?
that
You've been
Called
over
what?
That was in
Pulpit
Boston.
rock.
He
We
just
always
bought it.
call it rolling rock.
No, that's a
Somebody
different
wanted to
one.
buy a piece, but they wanted.
What'd you call it?
No,
Isn't
that's
Foster-
like the road.
Big rock, it
Babcock,
calls it
Washington,
in here.
he didn't
Carts,
know,
yes,
of course,
it's
he
pulpit
didn't
rock.
know.
Rolling rock, but they put something under it so it didn't roll anymore.
Oh, no, it still rolls.
But they don't.
It does, still does.
You know where?
There.
Yeah, a certain spot on each rock.
There's a big rock up on the old footprint.
I
don't know, it's like a
right up on the flea leader, right up on the top.
Same thing up
Is that a rock
Then
and rock,
they
or
take
just
something,
something?
and they get in the field, they knock things off, and then they down the end.
Bring up this school business.
We're gonna go around and have everybody say where they went to school and where they taught.
See,
So-
each one.
Ida Perron first.
Well, I went to Greensboro Elementary School, and the high school here, and then to Linden, well, it was normal, then became college. Then I taught at Riverside at Wolcott, and then up at Hazen for about 6 years, down to Bend for so many years, and up to Greensboro, and that's where I stopped.
So what do you mean Greensboro Elementary
Greensboro
School?
Elementary School, in the new.
The new one?
Well, not the new one, it was new at the time, but now it's newer.
Okay, but where you went to school for elementary school? Where was that?
All in Greensboro, when it was grades 1 to 12. So I went
Oh, in the
grades-
big school.
Sure, I went 12 years there.
Okay. How about you, John?
12 years down there to the village school. And I didn't have much outside of that, except see that I get my own kids to school.
Getting all your kids. And Bernie, where did you go to school?
You see. I don't know how long I went out to Hazen Road.
This is Laura.
I came in when I was, what, 10 years old.
Where'd you come from?
Gebbie.
Yeah.
Derby, oh.
And,
And you moved to the
Yes.
Cedar Rock farm?
moved
To Downings.
down into,
Yeah.
and go in there, you see, go after
No,
Sorry.
it's just that
there, you
we
see.
found where we could get more interest.
And it was,
So you went to Hazen Road School.
then, yeah, I went there, and then went down to the village there for 2 years, and then I went to Randolph.
Randolph? Where is-
Which cultural school?
Oh, down, okay, Randolph, Vermont. Yeah.
Randolph Center, yeah.
You could get in with just 2 years of high school then.
Yeah, then, get in 2 years, you see.
No, yours is
St. James doesn't know.
I asked, and I can get
Not
8.6.
Different place.
Yeah,
But,
that's why I'm.
Stands very high though.
That's
oh
a-
boy, it
Especially, I'm
does
telling you,
stand.
that engineering is right up there, right up number 8.
I know this last year, what was it, just 90-some-odd% of the boys who graduated there had jobs.
That's the same down in Johnson, when my kids
Jobs.
before they went out teaching training, and then they come back before they graduated. When they graduated, it was about over 85% of them kids had their schools to go to as a rule before they graduated. Now that's time, it's pretty good.
That's Randolph.
No, that's Johnson.
Johnson, right.
Randolph
They're
was
good.
agriculture.
Is that gone? Is that still
No, I
there?
think they still have the agriculture part there.
Oh, yes, they do, yeah.
But the engineering is the one that's come up, the
I got a letter the
agriculture.
other day and I want some
It's a
money.
technical.
Of course, it's technical school, yeah.
It's all
They
types.
take
She
the
didn't
agriculture.
go to school, so.
That's
Yeah,
one
right.
Skipper.
She just taught school, she didn't go to school.
Like down the UVM, that's an but you know how many kids graduated from agriculture, straight agriculture, to be farmers last year, or UVM, 11.
Is that all?
Now, I know that for a fact, because before I come up to see David, he was coming up, he was kind of interested. They were from Massachusetts, and his brother was going to UVM from Massachusetts. And he came up and they got to talking, and he said his brother was graduating this last year, and then there's only 11. Now, don't get me wrong, there's other things, they go into other fields, forestry and all that.
Right.
But just to go down, to come home, milk a bunch of cows and farm it, as we think of farming, there's only 11 graduates.
And it started off as an agricultural school, didn't it? Didn't it start as a?
No, I don't think it's shut off, but.
No,
Started.
Started.
Oh,
It's an
yeah.
agricultural school, yeah.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Agribusiness.
Okay, where did you go?
Is it my turn?
Yes.
Yeah, well, first grade, I went to a rural school with all 8 grades, right in my own district in Craftsbury.
So you're a foreigner.
Yeah. And yes, I am. And then we moved to the village and I went to a school where there was 8 grades, 4 in a room, like we had down here. And then
Is
I
the one
went,
on the hill there? Or not?
yeah, yeah. And then I went to Crestbury Academy for 4 years. And then I went to Johnson for a year. And I taught 2 years in Wolcott and 8 grades, a rural school with all 8 grades. And then I went to Crestbury, another rural school with all 8 grades. Well, they may have skipped a few, but I mean, they would have taught it if there'd been anyone for the grade. And then I came to, I was 22. When did you, when did you start school? 6 from whatever age you are. That would be the year I came over here.
Would it be about, let me
20.
see, it'd be, you'd have to say 55 years ago, I would think.
Yeah.
That'd be
Well,
about right.
that was, then I came to Greensboro, and as I remember it, I taught in the primary grade, I must have taught around 20 years there. And then we bought the farm.
Yeah.
So I stopped teaching for a while. And then,
In the village school you were?
yeah, first 4 grades. And when I went back, I guess I had the 5th and 6th.
Yeah, did you come to the band for a while? Weren't you teaching
Yeah, but that
rhythm
was
for a
after.
while? Oh,
That was after I got my degree, after I went to,
Oh, so that
to-
when I started teaching with you again, it was in the,
Yeah, up in
Greensboro
the-
school. Mhm.
up the new school. Yeah. And then after let me see, I was 50, so 50 from 78. What year would that be? That was when I got my degree.
Yeah.
And then I got
You go right down to the band after that, from, after you had your degree?
yeah, you know, I don't think they usually do this they do it in college.
Yeah.
Give you a leave of absence, but I remember they gave me a year's leave of absence to go to college,
Yeah.
go and get my
Yes.
degree, and
Yeah.
then I had my job back. They put me down at the band, and I was there for, I don't know, 3 or 4 years before I guess, and then I came back up to
Yeah,
the village, didn't I?
yeah, yeah.
Oh, I went all over the
Yeah,
place.
because I think you were at the village teaching with me,
Yeah.
and then you decided to go and have
And
the
then
special.
then I went back to the bend with the
Yeah.
special education
Yeah,
for 3
my
years.
oldest son enjoyed the 6th grade, the most of any grade, 5th grade, I guess.
Yeah.
Then he had changed teachers.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Well, that's about when you went to Bend.
yeah.
yeah.
And then I went to Newport for a year.
Oh,
And by that time, I was 62 and ready to retire. Yeah.
Someday I'm gonna get your flying story on tape.
Get my what?
Your flying story on tape.
Oh, yes.
She also got a flying degree
I know,
during
I
this.
know. I know. It had to do with Bernie getting a tractor and he decided to go flying.
That's right.
That's really quite a story.
Did you
I
ever
mean,
fly
that's
after
amazing.
that? After you got your license?
Bernie and I went to St. Johnsbury once, twice, but see, they grounded us. You couldn't get gasoline for anything except war
Because during the war.
related.
Yeah.
And, by the time they would let me fly again, I guess I got some sense.
Can't get a 4 feet off the ground now.
Oh, yes, I've always liked to fly.
Would you go up in the
Can't go
shuttle?
Up
if
ladder,
asked?
up ladder.
No, thank you.
Well, I don't need to.
You know, the day before.
Yeah, that
I
is
was at
different.
that-
I have-
the day
don't
I was
have
at
a-
the farm
something
show,
around.
even the day before, though, before that
Well,
happened,
I
I was
might find
thinking,
a big,
if anything's gonna happen, it's
Bernie,
gonna be up to the
he was
teacher, and I'll
delivering
make a
milk the
big,
morning.
big
He knew I was
splash. And
gonna
sure enough, I couldn't
do
believe it. I was
solo,
at the farm
you know.
show and heard about it. They had a TV
And
there. showing
I
it
told
all.
him I'd call him as soon as I got down. And he did. I guess I did call you. You just got back, didn't you?
I can't.
But I don't think he, from what he said, I don't think he enjoyed that morning much.
Wasn't there something you were too late? You couldn't go up the day you were supposed to, so you had to stay an extra
Yeah,
day?
that's right. That's how he knew about
That's how he
it.
found out about it?
Well, he told me that I could have the same amount of money he spent for that tractor to do anything I wanted to with, and so I did it.
You and the troop ships. Wasn't there a
I
troop
believe
ship
she
that
didn't
came
make
up?
so much money with that flying as I did with the tractor.
wasn't in the
I
deal,
paid for
was
the
it?
tractor.
That wasn't in the
She
deal.
hasn't paid for her
But that was a lot of
flying.
fun. Yeah, but the flying was a lot of fun.
And
It's an
one of
experience,
my instructors was killed flying bombers to England. The other one, I don't know what happened to him. I had two instructors, but one of them was killed in a takeoff.
I was on my first plane last October.
Yeah.
But the plane was hitched to the ground.
Oh.
There's a museum down
Oh.
to Bradley Airport in Connecticut. One-
Bernie even liked it. I took him to Burlington once or twice, and they
You
let
flew
him.
him?
No, but
Oh.
he was with me. You know, they let him.
No, I didn't go up with you.
No, I say, but you used the controls. He really liked it. Yeah, he's always liked to fly.
What kind of plane did you fly?
It was
not me.
what do you call it? Side by side, not tandem, but is it?
Biplane? No.
No, it was.
No, I'm saying what's the make of the plane or
Oh.
the type of plane?
It wasn't a Cessna. It was small now. What was it? I've got my books all upstairs.
Really does,
I don't get them. I
Learn
don't
to
know.
drive.
Do you remember though, Laura, when airplanes used to fly, they used to let all the kids run to the windows?
Yeah, we were telling
And they used to
them.
land on the lake, and I
Yeah.
can remember when I was a kid, we
Went
went
down to see it.
We not only went down, we
And
took off the
pontoons.
ride.
They
Right,
had
yeah,
pontoons.
There's quite a lot of activity. There's plenty more activity back than there is now. The big
Well,
ones
these
flies
are-
over
yeah.
so far and since,
But the little
I
ones used
think
to
it-
land quite often in the wintertime on the lake.
Williamson
Yeah.
had that big,
And
had that
summertime
big
too.
smash up there. They put a block right on it at,
Oh, is that what
at
happened?
Allen, at our base down that road.
Oh.
And once in a while, this summer I only see one. Once in a while, one of them jets, oh, I love to see them.
Yeah.
They'll come in up around and swing up around Crash Creek Island and come down and
I'd see the jets go over here quite
Perron and
You see the trails, I mean, they.
But one of them
Yeah.
landed
Just
right back,
yeah, you see that.
back of our barn. They, came way down the field and then landed up and stopped right in back of our barn once. I don't know if you remember seeing it. I don't know why he did that, but it was years ago.
Well, just a few years ago, a helicopter landed in our back parking lot
Oh, yes.
and asked directions.
Oh,
And we gave him directions and he went on. It was great.
you see quite a lot since they've been going for this acid rain.
Oh,
And then they, of course, they sprayed here a couple of years ago. That was interesting.
yeah.
And by the side, I know in the deal all these ones, of course, they had all the Wilson's field there. I should remember the fellow. They were campers in Randolph, and their daughter's husband, they used to come over there. They flew with a plane and took people up for a ride. I remember 1, 2, 3 years there, and they took, I remember Archie and Mary Shedd, they took him, they come from Rochester. They took him to Rochester, and they stayed over the week, come back, he used to be, and there's quite a little activity across the street, landing over on the Gables piece where they raise potatoes. Of course, at one time they would come for plenty of something in there, racing on that extreme.
Yeah, I remember that talking about.
What they talking about,
Oh, yes.
putting us airstrip
Yeah.
Oh,
there?
yes,
Airstrip there.
coming up there up here, oh yes, the blueprints and everything, all right down there in Alex and Montpelier.
Right in your
Wouldn't let 'em?
backyard?
When Montpelier wouldn't let them?
No, Montpelier, no, they had quite a few meetings here, and they, of course, were more or less against them because they didn't right on the street.
Next to the
So
road.
they figured that they wanted to get an airstrip in. And so Sharu was an old man, and there was a couple from Slightly, Hardwick. Some fellows from here, there's 2 cows. We got the beef truck come up. We told them that they could have one over as you go to Drapers is up through where Rosie Oaks and all up through there. There's wide open fields there. They could put an airport in there. But they didn't want it. They wanted it down there because the idea of what they wanted it to, they expected, Russia would come in from this north. They wanted it so that the air base at Plattsburgh, they'd have a place to fly the small jets in and be undercover. And of course, up there, wasn't no cover. Well, it's all surveyed, our farms surveyed, the whole works. It's a beautiful place for an air base. You don't realize it, but you can right below on the lower side now, behind you go straight right on through that Eastman's place. All that, just as low as the water you talk. They sent a plane up just as that's when our country was on there. Before he even went raiding potatoes, they were up here 3-4 days flying around. And they say the wind currents are just excellent, especially with the lake here and everything.
Did you ever see Lindbergh's plane that he flew over the Atlantic? I've seen that in the Smithsonian.
Yeah, no, in Washington.
But they did put the one up at Island Pond. It's kind of funny how it got started all at once too.
He changed a lot.
Dorothy, your name?
Oh, yes.
Well, I went 2 or 3 years up in where Mark Litzenstein lives now, and that was a schoolhouse. And I'm not sure just how many, but then Ina Logan Ladd was teaching, and they were bringing people up from Hazen Road at that time. And then I guess the population shifted or something, so then we had to go down to Hazen Road, and she drove we tell them about the built-in, covered-in wagon. This winter time she had a covered sled, and winter, summer I guess probably just a wagon with a double-seater with a canopy over the top. Put a horse down across the road and the buildings down there. So she was the bus driver and the teacher.
Was she the janitor too?
I
Because most of them were.
A lot of the older boys though did that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Maybe some of the older
Yeah, I was for
kids
half
did
a year.
that, but sometimes they did.
My
Then I
job-
went to high school, the Greensboro High School. Johnson, 2 years. I got my 3rd year with summer courses, workshops and stuff, and then got my graduate work from Goddard, so I went back to Johnson. They were going to work me over 2 or 3 years. They would get a degree there, so I got it in a year, but I did it with while I was teaching at special ed and stuff. Well, I shifted to kindergarten while I was there too. I taught in Stanford first, and then I was in the Star School in Walden a year, and went to Craftsbury, and then I went to Danville, I think. I was North Danville, and then Danville, back to Hardwick. I never taught in Greensboro except in special ed. Then I took time off, 12, 13 years off, and started the family, and went back teaching in Irisburg. Well, I had half a year in Orleans, and then Irisburg. And I came down to special ed for a couple years, I think. I taught in Glover the last of my teaching.
You were all over.
Well, I never stayed more than 3 years in the place until the last, I guess I was 4 years in Hardwick. And then I taught 6 years or so in Glover. But it was changed considerably.
Yeah.
It was much easier. Well, they were all 8 grades through, till I went to North Danville. I had the 8 grades, you might have 6, but you could have 8. And then in Danville I had the North Danville I guess I had 3 lower grades. Then in Danville I had 5th and 6th. But I mostly taught lower grades when I had part of a school. Taught kindergarten a couple years in Glover. Kindergarten in the morning and special, that was Title I partly, that type of work in the afternoon. For a year or two out there, and then I was first, second grade.
I always thought you taught here too.
No, I never taught in the Greensboro regular schools. I only taught in the special ed a couple of years.
Down at the bend.
The upper level. Same, I guess I took your place.
I think you
Yeah, I
did.
think so. Then they wanted just one teacher down there, and I could drive, wanted to carry the bed and couldn't, and I don't know if I wanted to stay there all alone anyway, so I got a job in Glover.
Kind of a lonely place if you're by yourself with children that you can't really relate to too well.
Harriet, you're not from Greensboro.
No, Williamstown, high school, and UVM. I did teach half a year in Randall.
Oh, you did too.
Was that when you got married? You taught a half a year and then got
Very shortly
married?
after that.
Yeah.
And then she went to work for them.
Yeah.
And she went to work for the government. You've been postmistress ever since.
40 years, was it? 45?
39.
39, almost 40.
Long time.
Oh, I want to ask something
Where'd you
about that.
teach
Did you
from?
have to be the same political party as the government? That didn't.
I mean, I had a nice letter from the Democratic regime who were in at that particular time, asking me to come and see somebody over in, Burlington Way, although it wasn't Burlington, like Middlebury or something. Robert wouldn't even let me sign my name to a letter. He typed it. Which said I was unable to go because of my children. And said it to him and never heard another word.
So
it was Roosevelt that signed my certificate.
So it didn't matter what political party you were then?
Not to the post office.
You weren't supposed to take sides anyway, were you, in
But a
town
lot of them
things?
did. I mean,
Yeah,
a
but-
lot of them, you weren't,
Could you have office in town?
you could have an office, the post office didn't care. You could have an office in town as long as it wasn't politically inspired,
Yeah.
if it made any difference. But the state law does. The state law says that you cannot hold a federal office and a town office at the same time. That is where your trouble is.
Were there any Democrats in town way back, say 50 years ago? Were they all?
Just about six.
Six?
I know,
You can count them on your fingers.
You can count them. Yeah, there's the Richardsons, there's the Garvins, and my father's father, three.
The Richardsons, were you?
No,
No.
we weren't Democrats.
What? Well, Henry's father was.
Well, that's different.
That's
My dad was. My
You mean to
dad-
tell me that they weren't Democrats?
my father wasn't. My family.
No,
Well,
You agree with me,
Careful,
Bernie?
John.
I agree with you,
No.
Jeanette, I agree with you.
Well,
I
was
do.
Henry Richardson's father and your father brothers? Well, were they Catholics and you Protestant? How was
That's
that?
right.
Democrat?
Yeah.
My father
No,
was a
sir.
Catholic till he was 16.
It was
And
only
then he
six,
got
you know.
disgusted with the church and he quit it.
So you were supposed to be Catholic?
I would.
So you're a Richardson?
That's
Okay,
right.
okay.
And
that's the
the
Richardson
Democrats
farm
and the
over there.
Catholics seem to go together.
That's right, they do.
Okay, so is that the farm where Rob Merman lives now? That is the Richardson?
Yes,
farm?
that's right. That's where I was born.
That's where you're from.
Florida.
Okay.
But,
Where Heineken's
Go to
live,
kitchen
is where the
junkets.
other,
I knew who he was.
Oh, yeah.
the other Richardson family,
Your
lives where
parents
Heineken
were
does.
Democrats.
No,
don't know
my
where that
parents
is.
weren't.
They weren't.
I
know.
I always thought they were.
No.
I don't know who they are.
Above bars, Rotherbush.
Well, there's
Okay, yes.
three up at Garvin,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
and there's two down to men. The fellow used to keep a feed store down there. And
Gibson?
No, oh no.
No.
I didn't think so.
He built a place where, put the barn underneath where Allen Jr. used to live, that nice place, just to go across the bridge. Fix that man, used to run the store, he and Don Barber. the marijuana out.
Don Barber, he was Democrat.
What was Democrat?
Or
anything.
absolutely nothing. I don't know why. I mean that because it has
Doesn't
nothing,
really.
absolutely nothing to
No.
do with
Who
it.
was that?
No.
That big man there.
How about French? Does that go with Democrat? No.
Didn't he
I
have
don't think so. It has nothing. I didn't understand when you said that. Because, to me, I think
Van Gore? No, I'm talking Van Gore.
most of them that I know go by.
Well, anyway,
They must have been just
I know who you mean.
independent.
I know who you
Yeah.
mean.
There's
No,
him.
I don't know. How does he know? It's what I'm wondering. How do you know for sure they were? Because it seems to me, maybe it's only since I've been voting, but it seems so you go by according to what you listen to and what you like. It has nothing to do so
Yeah,
much
but
with
that's
God.
more like now, a long time ago, that wasn't
no,
true.
no.
You were a
No.
Democrat or you
Well,
were
I
a
never-
Republican.
Well,
Up
I
until
guess,
very recently.
Preferably a Republican.
Recently, you had to pick up your Republican or your Democratic
Right,
ballot.
Yeah.
on the
You had to
primary.
declare yourself and pick up that
Oh.
On
ballot.
your primary, that's why.
Yeah.
You had to declare
Yeah.
yourself
Yeah.
publicly.
I
oh,
remember.
I see, but I never did that. You see, I had to say I'm this or
He
that.
would
because
argue, he
sometimes
was
Did you
a
have to
great
pick up
one ballot or the
Cleveland
other?
man.
seems so. I
your
crossed
father-
Dad
sometimes
was
I
like
vote
George
for one.
Davis, and then when they voted, they
I mean,
just
you know,
square.
seems so I just never voted straight one way or the other.
Today, I don't think you can tell a Republican and a Democrat.
No.
Today.
But back then, everybody knew who the 6 Democrats were.
And then it was pretty close like that. And then when I went to legislature, it was Brennan, was the head of the agriculture.
Right.
I
He was
know
number
my
one.
father very
He's
well.
came
from
from
north of
Patrick.
Burlington, yeah.
Did he
I know.
vote? Did
I
you?
know his granddaughter.
He was a very bright man. My dad come, and when he'd come home, I'd speak about it. And so he was going to run for governor. I told my dad, the wife said, no, I'm going to vote for him. I said, he's got 11 kids and farmed all his life. I said, I think that's good enough for me. But Dad, of course, he didn't. But they were putting the other one out, and Gibson was running. Andrew Williams represented then. He was working for Proctor. And Proctor hadn't been too well. He wouldn't stand anyway. He was going in Lane, and they were trying to put a lot of dams up and down in Connecticut, you know. So he didn't last but one. Gibson. So I was sent in, and they sent me the literature, and I had pictures of the yellow picture, and I went out and nailed it on the horse line. And I done quite a little work. And I won't say for sure, I think it's 42 Democrat votes, and that's when it started to go the other way. And there's quite a few Democrat votes in town.
Well, yeah, but they're mostly outsiders, aren't they? I mean, not
Somewhat.
people born
Yeah,
here.
No, but there's a lot of them split. Same as
They're not even Vermonters, are they?
No. I split my
No, I'm not, but I'm just saying that most of them are not.
I remember my father.
Vermont's always been a Republican.
Going down to see that on his father didn't remember, but he said, well, it's a free country, so I'll let say that with Darlene. But I voted for Lincoln that side. And that's really when the Democrat vote, you can go right down to Town Clerk's office and check it out. So it really started to.
I can remember though, one time my father mentioned it, I guess it was time that Roosevelt, and he had met, you know, Mr. Willie, the old Mr. Willie in town, and Mr. Willie said, well, if he gets in, we're all just as well off dead.
That sounds like going down to George Davis. He and my saw it every Saturday night. That was great. Oh, I used to love to down.
I don't think people feel that way now.
No,
Now I think they vote for the man, not
Yeah,
the...
Well,
that's it,
they
yeah.
didn't ban, though.
Was George Davis a Democrat? No.
But I guess there was very, very strong Republicans at that time, when Roosevelt came in about that time.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
They
Oh,
were,
yeah.
Yeah,
they were Republicans.
yeah.
I think after the first time he was elected, a lot of Republicans voted for him after that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, they did.
sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they did.
Yeah.
Do you remember when Governor Graham was governor of
Yeah, yeah.
And he stole money
Stole
from the
money
town,
from
from the state.
I've got a book when he was governor. It's the picture of
Yeah.
the people in legislature.
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
You know who Governor Graham was? He lived at Craftsbury. You remember going up the common hill, right at the top of the hill, that great big oversized house? Well, that was the Graham.
The one that burned or the one on the left?
On the left.
On the left.
That was the Graham, and I remember, I lived in Craftsbury then, and how embarrassed I was to think we had a governor from Craftsbury that would steal. Oh,
And there
that
was
was just awful.
Governor Bell too, from Malden, you remember?
Yeah,
Governor
Bell.
Yeah.
I remember going to his
Bill.
house where he'd been in East Hardwick or Hardwick or someplace. There was a place that Charlie Bell
The
house.
Belfry, I boarded there one year.
You did? Oh, that was an interesting place. I went to a
You
wedding
go up
party.
toward Walden
Every time I
Star
went
School,
there was that.
by that dry bridge is across the river, it's
Yeah.
on the left.
Kind of an interesting place.
Some of that burned, I guess, didn't it?
The barn's
I
gone,
think
but
the
the house
barn's
is
Put a
still.
barn down.
Tore it
Because
down.
they've been refinishing it, a young fellow has bought
Jack
it,
Hancock.
a younger fellow, and he's been refinishing, working on it.
Go see me?
Doing a lot of work. It's a pretty place. And,
All right, Snap, we've got the.
Oh, he hasn't.
No,
said-
Oh,
Robert
he
hasn't.
hasn't? No, okay.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
Where'd you teach, Robert?
Well,
Same place I did, huh?
Actually, I taught,
In Townsend.
5 years in, 5 months in Townsend,
Really?
Vermont.
You did?
What'd you teach?
Oh, high school.
I mean,
Science.
science, Well, that's it, you start at the beginning though.
Oh, let's see. I think my first school experience was up in the Spear School. I can't remember how long. And, seems though, we moved to Fitchburg when I was in the 6th grade, Fitchburg, Mass. I went to 7th and 8th grades there and came back to and the first year in high school, most of the second in Fitchburg. And came up here and graduated from Greensboro High School.
Was that when you got elected?
Yeah.
What happened? I didn't know you
We
got
thought he was a
elected.
goner. We thought he was a
I'll
goner.
tell you about it in a minute. I finished the school thing first. But then I went to UVM. I spent 6 or 7 years getting through. My eyes bothered me. I studied chemistry there. And I couldn't get a job in that because of my eyesight. So, but I did teach school in Townsend for well, after December, to the end of the year. Then I went onto the farm and worked in the post office.
How many years were you school director though?
14, I think.
Quite a while.
I think it was 14, quite a while. I was school director when you were.
Yeah.
You were
Yes, the
too.
one I was teaching.
Yeah.
You didn't
Yeah,
mention
10
that.
years,
yeah.
I think it was 14 years. Now I got tired and not doing much of it. Retired. Well, this electrocution business, in those days didn't have television, and if you got a radio that used an outside aerial, the aerial was quite directional. You could point it so you'd get more stations from that direction. Well, the proper way to point it up on our farm there was west. So I put an antenna up on top of the house, and the lead-in came off the end toward the stations. So the wire stretched out. I put it across the road and tied it with a rope in the top of a maple tree, which was all right. But I don't know, a couple of years later in the winter, snow slid off the house and took the aerial down. And I looked very carefully when I went out. The rope was over the wire, all right. So I picked it up, pull it, and caught a limb, snapped back. Caught me.
And at school, they said he was a goner.
Yeah, there was a boy living over where Bronwyn Potter lives now, and he came along just as it happened and saw me go down.
Yeah.
He ran all the way to school.
Told us.
But actually, I could see and I could speak, but I couldn't move. I was getting so much electricity. I had boots on. That's probably all that saved me.
We saw him walking up the road.
How long did it last, this,
I don't know how long I was on the wire, but quite a while.
no, I meant how long before you got back to normal?
Oh, I went to school the same day.
Oh, you did? Oh, you did?
Well, for a little while after you come to Roll Wilson was dead.
Everybody was out front of the school looking at me.
It did kill the dog?
My dog ran into the wire, killed him immediately.
Oh my
Oh
No.
my gosh.
And we had a
Your mother really was.
Yeah, my mother saw me. She came out and took all the wires and it knocked her out.
Oh my gosh.
Took every hair, every pin out of her head.
Okay.
But we had somebody, fortunately, we had somebody staying there with us. And she went over to the bar and got my dad. I could talk, so I told him not to touch it. He got an axe, cut it.
You were holding on to it the whole
antenna
time?
wire, yeah, right up like this.
Ah,
I was burned on my neck a little bit.
yeah.
But that was all.
Well, I had this scare with lightning, and I was lucky I had boots on, so I think boots are,
Yeah, I put them on. I'm scared to death of lightning.
I don't think I was wrong, but the
My
thing caught a limb.
my dogs never wanted,
And I
would never go get the cows since, you know.
I was just going to pull it a little further over. Instead of that, it caught the limb and pulled it.
Do you remember
over.
being unconscious? You
I
must
wasn't
have been.
unconscious.
You weren't?
No.
Okay.
But
When
You were
it
just
hit, it
conscious
made
through the
my
whole
hair
thing, but
burn
couldn't
hair on
move.
my arms,
Yeah.
you know, and you really get this,
Yeah.
your arms, it's really something. Did you ever have that happen?
Well, I don't know if I. Yeah, where your hair stands right up.
I was
many
just
times.
down, and then, you know, first thing I knew was down. I don't know if it was just a minute, probably lost a minute somehow, but then you had this curly sensation going up your arms, you know,
Yeah.
your hair.
This is like being real close
was
to
it
lightning.
lightning?
Yeah, when I was out getting the cows once, and a dog took off.
I have. You know that happened to me
We were
on
working in the
electric
garden
fence.
one day.
Yeah, I just going to
I
say.
got
The
my leg
thunder
over
shower
the,
was coming.
I went to
We could
step
see
over
it.
the fence and my leg caught and I had that wire
One fellow
here
picked
and
his
I was
hoe
on
up
my
and
back.
said, "I guess we better get
yelling
out of
for
this." He
him
was just
to
holding
get
on like this and snapped it off the end
Oh
of the
boy,
head.
that was horrible.
Weed choppers, they
Yeah,
come
I
right
am.
out the electric line, I'm telling you.
Boy, that was
you've got
something.
a wet
He was quite a ways
feet or
away
shoes
too.
away.
It took him a while to get to
You can
me.
get someone off that and bring you nothing.
That line was carrying
Well, that
3,600 volts.
It was wet.
That's scary. Yeah.
Well,
So you were just there completing the circuit, really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And you can't let
But
go.
the wire was on the ground, that probably took a lot of it too.
Yeah.
just it wasn't your time. You weren't supposed to leave us then. Well, Jeanette, we got to you.
Well, I went to Hazen Road, then I went to the young school up at the lake. Then I went out to East Craftsbury. Then I took the 8th grade at Greensboro High School. And I graduated from Greensboro High School and then I went to Johnson 1 year. I taught 2 years at the young school and 3 years at North Greensboro. And after 22 years, they asked me to go over and substitute over in Standard. I said I'd go for 2-3 weeks till I get another teacher. Well, I stayed 6 years. And the most youngsters I had was 35 in all 8 grades. When I went there, I only had 18 kids. I had 35.
One person for 35
That's right.
students in
Oh, I
8
had
grades.
I didn't have any principal to send them to or any music teacher or anything.
No, you didn't have any, you just had yourself.
And then the state made a ruling that you couldn't have only so many children, wasn't it, after
I
a
don't
while?
remember. You see, I stopped in
Oh, you
1960.
stopped, but
I
didn't
don't
they,
know. I know
didn't they,
every-
you had to have, you couldn't have too many kids.
I had 28 and one.
I'm sure I've had
That was a
that
little
many
one
too, or
school.
even more. I think I've had around
35, I could
30,
hardly
32.
get
I think
between
28
the
was
seats.
the
They were
figure
so
for a
close
while.
to get right
I
up.
don't know
I
what
think
it was.
closer to 25, but that's recommended.
I think it was recommended, but I don't think they'd, you know, if you had 1 or 2 extra, even 5 or 6, they didn't
I know, we
do anything about it.
No,
But, and getting your superior schools, which you were talking about, there was a limit.
Yeah,
And I know we had a superior school standing, but at one time, there were 36 there in the 8th grade. My problem was I was the only one in the class as a rule, in my class, so I was always with some other class. Yeah.
and that was the first time they ever had hot lunches up there. We started those.
What year would that be?
I began 1954 and ended 1960.
Did you,
6 years.
somebody came in and cooked them?
Mrs. Sweenard did the cooking, brought the food up to the school.
That's at Standard.
That's right, and they were delicious.
When I was over
Yes,
at
we've
Sabre
got
School in Craftsbury, we cooked their own hot lunches. The kids helped me some, and they'd begun sending out surplus commodities. And they built on a little room
she
where
got
we had a
commodities.
stove, and well, I might stand over the stove to do something and be pronouncing spelling words or something like that. But I mean, we had hot lunches.
We'd have to go up in the town hall and eat. The time we had 35 there,
Oh, yeah.
set up tables. But I think that was about the happiest year because everybody had to work and everybody was busy. They didn't have time to be fooling around.
I can remember pronouncing doing spelling words on a tape recorder. I mean, fixing it the night before, you know, pronouncing the words and then turning it on, and while I was doing something else, the children would be doing their spelling from the tape recorder. I did a lot of work with the tape recorder.
Where's the young school?
The young school was over at the head of the lake.
The Campbell School?
Mm-hmm. That's right, we called it the young school.
Okay.
Okay, Willie, you're next. We need to have you. You're part of this Greensboro.
Oh gosh, I'm a foreigner.
Well, even
Flatlander.
You're a Laplander.
Even foreigners
I'm
went
a
to
real
school.
Flatlander.
Laplander.
All right. Really want to know this.
Yes, we do.
Gosh. Age 3 to age 9, Montessori School, Amsterdam.
Is that like kindergarten? I mean, 3, if you were 3?
Well,
was
they
it
started nursery school,
nursery school.
and it just kept
Is
on
that,
going
do
from
they
there.
do that for all kids, or were you
It was,
special?
in Holland, you can choose the type of school you want to go to. And my parents chose this type of school, the
Yeah.
type of education, Montessori.
How did you like it? It's supposed to be very,
It's
very
great.
good.
It's all
We
hands,
taught,
it's
I know what
hands-on.
Montessori, because we had,
Yeah.
we,
Yeah, so I wondered, I wonder how she liked it as a student. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I remember loving
John
school.
Aiken
I wouldn't go
and Lori
home
taught
for lunch.
that.
yeah.
John Aiken taught that? John Aiken was a teacher?
Yeah,
I
at
didn't
one
know
time.
that. I didn't know that.
And his sister, they both in Florida.
Huh. Okay, age 9 to, well, through elementary school, Horn Elementary in Bel Air, Texas.
In Texas?
Yeah, Bel Air, Houston.
Yeah.
Junior high, Pershing Junior High in Houston, Texas.
Well, when did you move to this country? I mean,
And when I
how-
was 9,
when you were 9.
yeah.
Now, did your Bush folks must have come with you? They
Yeah,
moved here.
they all came
lived
here
here.
too, yeah.
But now they're back in
They went back after
Yeah.
30 years.
No.
And then Bel Air High School, 4 years, 9th grade to 12th, and Antioch College in Ohio.
Well, you
And
moved
then
around a lot.
I taught for 10 years at Burlington High School,
Yes.
biology,
Was that after or before you were married?
after
After. You lived in Burlington, I don't
Burlington for
remember
10 years. And taught there, and during that I
Well,
went
that
to
was when
UVM, took
Dave was
courses there. When he was
doing lawyer,
lawyer.
when he was a
Right.
lawyer. Yeah.
And that's, I guess I taught at
Well, I
Greensboro
guess you
Elementary
know
a
about
little
teaching
bit
then.
because I've been in there to
Imagine, almost everybody.
teach school.
I went to high school
Yeah.
in Vernon,
What?
the high school.
What's it like?
No,
No, I was at Burlington High.
Vernon.
Also a year at Lyman
I
C.
think
Hunt Junior High.
Roger Perron, or she must be old, but she taught Latin in our high school. Very good.
Would she be there when you were
Perron.
teaching when you were there? Marjorie Perron?
That's why I was wondering.
No, I don't think.
Probably not.
No,
She's
she
been
is
retired for a
teaching
long
now. She's
time.
been retired for some time, but, she taught, I think it's Edmund. Anyway, she left Greensboro High School and went down there to teach
I've
Latin,
seen
and
her some of
she
the
taught
church
all her
meetings. She's
life.
been
in
quite
that high
active,
school.
but she hasn't come the last time.
That was at Edmonds probably.
I think
When it was the high school at
She
Edmonds.
wrote up an article.
Because that wasn't, I think Burlington was built till 63 or so. So
She's
that's,
still living, because I sent her something here about a month and a half
now, and
ago.
she, the Perron brothers'
It's Alden Perron's daughter.
daughter,
It's
okay.
Alden Perron's
And
daughter.
these are the carpenter,
No, it
carpenters?
was Lester that was the carpenter,
Okay.
really. He was the,
Oh, he
iron
was a
man.
carpenter, and Lester
Lester
was
was
a
the
iron worker.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, are we
So that's
finished
about-
now
Oh,
on
Well,
this?
some had said what we, I don't remember just what standard the superior schools had to be to get those
I'm not sure everybody
designations.
knows here,
I
do
wondered
they?
if anybody
Except
knew.
me. You had to have indoor toilets, I think, flush toilets.
Yeah.
That's
Oh, yeah,
the
that
important
flush
part.
toilets, well, in the.
Well, I think
my
so,
schools,
didn't
my
you?
first
We had
schools
them
never had them.
I think the last of it up there, so I suspect
Over
we
there.
did.
You had to
You
have
had
a
to
flush
have-
toilet, didn't you, to have Superior School?
Superior School, you did.
Yeah.
But the
What
standard,
else?
you could have a
We had
standard
time to
school
get
with
the
the
water.
water back.
Oh.
Running water for a superior school probably?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Well,
think
flush
so.
toilets, running water.
Remember,
together.
we found the spring right back to school there. And Haxel is in.
And you had to put in different, some of them had to put in, change the window system to different
Yeah.
lighting.
Oh, yeah, you had to
Lighting.
have so many square feet of light coming in
Yeah.
over the left shoulder. Of course, I don't know what they did with people that were left-handed.
Turn them around.
You weren't supposed to be left
I
handed.
guess Barbara, you'd have
No, it's true, they didn't have
You weren't
the
supposed to
scissors
be
and all that.
left-handed.
No, you
Made
changed
everybody
them, you
right-handed.
changed them to right-handed if they were left.
Yeah, for a long time.
No, nobody ever told my son Robert.
Yeah, but he came a little
tried.
later.
Yeah, they tried. They
Did I
tried.
try to change them? Probably did.
Somebody did.
Because somebody,
No, I
had-
don't think,
No,
I can't
Delia
remember.
tried
I
to.
think it was
Delia.
me.
And
Yeah.
I was having to pull him to school. I mean, he
Yeah.
He
hated it.
hated it so much, yeah.
And I found out that was his problem.
Oh, yeah.
Stopped that,
Yeah.
and no problem.
The funniest thing that happened to him was when he was going to, I thought it was funny, when he was going to Hayden Road. I guess he didn't like the bus driver very much. He threatened to put him off the bus. So he asked
Did
us,
something.
he asked us if he could walk home. We said, you can if you want to. So
That's a
he
ways.
got put off the bus.
How many times did he walk home? I used to
Just
walk
once,
home.
I guess.
I used to walk home, go down from
He was
somewhere.
planning it, so
The worst thing was carrying on your papers.
didn't want us to worry about it.
Yeah.
It wasn't the walking, it was carrying all that stuff
Yeah,
from
take
there
a-
for the next day.
I had a little girl that
had.
had just two fingers, her thumb
I
and
know,
two
I
fingers.
Dad's diary the other day, I was looking one up.
Right hand?
Yeah, and I
At
wanted
that
to
time,
teach her
when
with her
we
left
make it
hand.
clear
Clarence
that
Peel wouldn't let
We
me, her
used
father.
to do quite
So I
some
had
things,
teacher
raise
with
the
those
money, and I
fingers.
remember one. And
That was kinda hard to hold so
She was a
much.
great
$8
lady.
lessons like
Holding
that.
like that. Well,
Mhm.
To
You
go
better
to
watch
the
what you
school.
some people.
But he wouldn't let me change her.
No.
He wouldn't let me-
That raised quite a lot of money on it.
It's nice when you can be both, but not everybody has that. I just admire all those birds because,
I think we ought to get into that recreation business, which is all connected with schools, and I was thinking about,
That's what Dr. Fitch,
Aren't they pretty?
Red poles.
red poles, I guess.
I got them down at the Washington. You have that though.
oh, lots of
Like you
we
said.
because
have.
I heard again, you know, it isn't there, because Willie might know what it was.
Aren't they cute?
They're so cute. They're not all the same. Some have that red in the front, and others
That's
seem to be
male
the
and
same.
female.
Oh, yeah. A few minutes. There've been at least 3 kinds. I've sat here and watched the little woodpecker.
There's a hair woodpecker and down.
And then
Yeah,
there's
my
little
son was
chickadees
a
have been
downy,
out
I
there.
think.
Ever get the
Chickadees
brown
right now.
cat chicks up here? The
No,
brown
I don't
head?
think so.
They can get them occasionally.
I don't think so.
Well,
They're all
look out
black.
for them, see if you
Yeah.
can.
I think they come through at a certain
You know, it's
time.
snowing.
Yeah, they're the Arctic
Greenstone.
ones. They come from the further north even.
One thing about Greensboro often people mention is, are they ever gonna have a place where people can bring things, that, sort of like a museum?
Well, that's what,
They keep that one here.
Theoretically, in the town hall, one of these days, we'll get it set up. Because we really need to get it together.
Have you got anything to?
Well, I don't know. I know there's 2 old wheels. I don't know, just they're very, very old. I don't know what they were from the World War I or something. And just spoiling. There's things that probably could have been as sheds that could be, theater no more. If he was here, he'd know. I don't know. But sometimes people have things and we just let it.
I know.
They just have no
John
choice.
Allen has a lot of stuff, and Robert Drown has a lot of
Oh,
stuff.
I should take Willie downstairs and show him Ernie's collection down there, because there are
His
things.
tools.
There are some things down there that are, he's got shelves all
I
across
think it's
this
interesting
side.
to see. I think it's interesting
And
to see.
he's
You don't
got
have to have them,
all
but you
this,
just see them.
a lot of his
You
folks
learn
things.
from them. Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have a place
Ever
where,
been to Farmers Museum in Cooperstown, New York?
No,
That's quite a bit.
That's quite a
Never
place
been
to have it. At least it used to be.
We went there one time, right at a one time. Some of the
All
stuff was
it's corn husking and all those things.
Take the girl to movies.
Yeah, taking the girls to the
nice
reading that movie down
And,
there.
square
School was
dances.
quite a
Square
social
dances.
place too. I think they had lots more going on in the little rural schools. We had lots more night
Yeah, it
parties.
was
with the parents
connected
coming.
mostly with schools, don't you think?
A lot of
Halloween
Oh, yeah.
and,
We had
Memorial Day
yeah.
and all that.
Robert, do you remember the corn husking
Oh, yeah.
play? We'll go down there to Greensboro.
There was a lot more time.
What do you do at a corn
If you
husking?
had red, you got a red ear by the.
And if they got a black ear, they had to kiss the girl.
You mean everybody just sits around husking
Yeah,
corn?
this was a regular play that somebody had written about it. But
Okay.
the whole thing takes place as a husking bee.
Oh, yes.
And
Well,
Huston
we used to have
music with
Huston
it.
bees, and that
And
was.
I went down to your place once with the husking party.
Is that right?
Sure, sat around and everybody, if you got a red ear, you got kissed
Oh,
by
the
the
red ear, I thought
boys
it was
and
black
you
ear.
know.
What'd you do, save them till the right boy was in
I don't remember that, but I just remember that if you found a red ear, why, you
Yeah, I
got
remember
kissed.
that.
And this was just because you had to husk the corn, so it became a party.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You had to get
And then,
the
of course,
corn ready.
another kissing game was post office.
Oh, yeah.
Played that.
spin the bottle
Spin the
too.
bottle.
Spin the
was very
ball and
popular.
all that sort of thing.
Then there was a feast day in January. I don't know if it was, this was supposed to finish off all the Christmas activities, but they'd have a cake in which there was 2 beans, one for the king, one for the queen of the party. And whoever found them, you know.
And they had box
Hopefully it wasn't two at the
socials
same
then
time.
too,
Yes,
where
yeah.
you bid
I
on your,
used to like to.
yeah, that
Are you
was
really
fun.
the lunch boxes?
Yes.
You really did
They
that,
did
just
on
like in
those. You didn't know
Oklahoma?
who. Oh, you did that too?
You put up, you
I
put
mean,
up a
like in
lunch
that
for 2
movie.
people.
Oh,
and
yeah.
men would
I'd like to do
pay-
that again.
they'd actually pay money.
Right, and it was raising money for the
Yeah.
church or
They'd
for
auction
whatever.
them off.
Yeah.
And of course, if you had somebody you really wanted to eat with you,
You tell 'em,
decorated it
yeah,
so
such
you
a way.
told them. And that, of course, if they
If
knew
you had a rival.
that the,
Then
yeah,
you knew,
yeah,
then they
then
would
they
bid,
did the
Yeah.
box
You
way
had
up,
to
you
pay for
know.
it.
You remember
Everybody knew
Bruce
that.
Young?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He got Evelyn Withers' box
yes.
over at the young school one night, and she pretended she was sick, she wouldn't eat with him.
Uh-huh.
I'll never forget that.
So that really went
I
on,
think I
because
got
I've seen that in
Mildred-
movies,
yes.
you know,
Oh, yeah.
musicals.
Yeah.
I got Mildred Willis one night, and she says, what was it? I can't remember what it was. Said something about, I don't know whether you like this or not. Well, I said, I'll eat anything. She was very much upset. Well, I didn't mean it that way.
Of course, you always wanted to get a box with a good cook.
Oh, yeah, well,
You know,
she
somebody
was a good cook.
Oh,
No question
yes,
about that.
but some of them
Yeah.
weren't like
I didn't say it quite right.
She always got a great kick out of this. Joe DeBruin, that was Al DeBruin's brother. He was a great
Helen
eater.
Wiles.
And they had a box party down in the Grange. He got her box, or she'd have a beautiful box. You know. Well, he got that finished up pretty good, and he sat down. Well, he says, I guess I'll go get up now and go home and have my favorite dish of bread and milk.
Seems like we used to sometimes have shadows or something like that behind the sheet in the light.
Oh, yeah.
Going up at
Yeah.
Lamundi's, and we were, well, probably when they're raising all this money to
Yeah.
make the school a superior school.
We had charades.
But they had all these, I mean, they had little 2 or 3 people play, and we'd have an orchestra dance right in the home, if they had space in it. Your father used to play a lot, right?
What did they play?
He played
Violin.
Violin.
You know, down to Lamundi's,
Oh,
they
sure.
move everything out of the
And-
kitchen, the
and-
dining room,
and you
move it
play
right
the
out.
organ.
we had
And I did
kitchen
too.
orchestra.
I
Yeah.
used to play chorus.
Well, I can't remember when you played, but I remember when Ann played.
Yeah.
And
But
your dad would sit there at night, play hour after
till
hour,
3
song
o'clock
and
in the
darn
morning.
fiddle.
Till
Last
3
one
o'clock.
And,
the dance I went to was up
You
there
see,
on
who was
Monday.
it
Is that
that,
right?
there was another one there, an old fella that
Was a fella
that
come,
played, there was 3, huh?
there was a man that came from Walden once to play with him.
No, this old fellow was around from here.
Well, didn't Wally Morris, Minnie Mitchell's brother, play something from up that way?
Didn't somebody up that way play drums?
I don't know.
No, it
Mr.
wasn't drums.
Bullard played with him once down to the high school with my
I think it
dad.
was 2, your dad and somebody else
Was a
played the
violin.
fiddle.
George King,
George Key.
Mine
he used to
Maybe
play.
that was it.
He used to play with him. Mhm.
And then Ann would play the organ.
They always played chords, they
Mhm.
didn't
Always
play,
did,
you know, they
always
just
did, yeah.
chord,
Yeah, play
chords
chords.
for the,
Yeah.
That's for dances. People dance.
And then sometimes somebody was doing it, and they wouldn't have it at school anymore. At the school,
Kitchen
you know, it got to be
junkets.
too wild or
Kitchen
too
junkets.
hectic or something. I mean, there'd be a crowd, somebody would come in that would be a little bit unruly, and that would be it,
yeah.
you know.
That's one thing I will say, as long as I don't know how many years I did cook these, but that's one thing I will say. I never see
Never saw
anybody
anybody.
that ever caused any trouble to any of these
No,
kitchen junkets.
No.
And they had
There
something to
was
drink too.
Lamundi's,
They had
and there
cider.
was Del
Hard cider.
Ritson's,
Yeah.
Hiram Caldude's, and Thompson's out there,
Will
you wouldn't
Thompson's.
believe it, but the old house, I don't think it's all fallen
That
down.
little
Right
old
about
house.
Where
Collier?
Collier lives now. They have dances there.
But that was
And
home.
up
so they
home.
probably
And Dad
Those
used,
were the ones.
and Dad used to, he went over to Cassaval's once.
I think they used to have
George
dances
Spear?
at Lumsden's too.
They did?
That place was.
That's right.
I used to go up there.
Where Larry lives?
Then they had barn dances in the summer.
Seen that in Brown,
These places
and
that
Harriet
Had
Wilson.
barn
was.
dances down when you had a
Yeah,
barn
that's right.
raising, we had barn raisings.
They
That
didn't
was
want to
fun.
get
At her
too
house
far
at the
off,
Richards
they would go to
And,
Lewis Lumsden and play for a
You
day.
might as well call it entertainment. It was, when you sawed wood, the whole neighborhood came and you put on the big feet and the women came and helped feed them.
You
And,
built a new barn, you had several
Yeah.
dances in
Yeah.
that too.
and the best part of it was they never had babysitters. They always
Never.
took the kids.
Never.
That I remember as being pretty wonderful. I don't ever remember of having a babysitter. My mother and father always took me everywhere they went. And if we got sleepy, we just crawled on the bed and went to sleep and they'd pick us up and I went home.
You don't think of a Grange as a place for babies. I went down to Norwich, I guess, to Greenville one night. They had 8 packed right on the stage right in back of the Gracie.
Yeah.
They just made a habit of bringing them, putting them
Yeah,
right on the
sure.
stage, and they'd sleep, and if any of them woke up, well, they'd turn around.
But I would think that would be good today. You don't have to pay a babysitter.
That's
It's
right.
expensive to have a babysitter
Actually,
today.
during the 70s, when a lot of the hippies came up here, they always took their kids
Yeah.
out everywhere.
Yeah.
Every dance I'd go to, like at the Glover Town Hall, there are always 100
Yeah.
kids around.
Mhm.
And so for a while they did that, and now it's back to going away without
Well,
your
maybe
kids.
the parents just like to have a night out, not have to
They wanna
bottle
get
them,
rid
but
of the
mostly
kids.
they go to sleep anyway up there.
Yeah,
They run around until they tear themselves all out,
That's
and then
right.
they climb up on the bed.
I
and
remember
go
going
sleep.
to the fiddlers contest and the good banjo contest in Craftsbury, where there were tons of kids late at night, always.
They had candy pulls too.
Oh,
Had
yes,
lots of
molasses candy.
I remember that.
Imagine having molasses
You
candy,
actually
but oh,
had
we
candy
loved it.
pulls.
Oh, yeah, you had.
That's so you make them. That's how you make the candy, right? By pulling it.
Oh,
Yeah.
and you got
Changes
all stuck
color.
up, you
Yeah.
know, and your face and your hands would be all sticky because
Some people just couldn't pull it without getting stuck on it.
you see two people, two people. You'd pull it out like this and you fold it over and that one would take it and then you'd pick this one up. And usually some of it got on the floor.
But you pulled maple too.
Generally,
as well.
sometimes
yeah.
you get it in the face too.
Oh, really? Make maple
But I remember
taffy?
there was molasses, but they used a lot of molasses early. And
You'd have to butter your hands.
yeah, you buttered your hands.
So
That
somebody
was
would
fun.
cook up a vat of this, and then the kids would.
Kids
Pull.
would pull it.
And they had the sugar on snow parties in spring.
Yeah, sugar on snow, all the
Everybody
school, the
invited the
whole,
neighbors in.
all the
Which they
school
don't
men.
have now because they don't make sugar.
No, I can remember
Cornrows, yes.
back,
Yeah.
well, you remember this,
We ought to
Robert.
write something
I
down.
can
We've got it
remember,
right
I think it's on one of these.
Because we don't want to forget
It
those.
it was, down there at the village, King was his name there,
George,
There was a George King with
anyway, and then, oh heck, I can't remember names, but anyway, there was a fella there, then there was a younger fella that went with him, and every sugaring, like, they'd go to work and take their dinner, don't you know, and start out and visit the sugar houses around, don't you know?
Yeah.
Then they'd eat the dinner, and then they was sugaring off, don't you know, and put
I
it in
think
the
that'd
cups.
be George King and the young ones before Lagoon.
Is that it? Well,
Yeah, I
that's,
guess
oh
that's
my
it.
gosh, yeah. And
Say that again. Who was it?
they go to work and when they sugared off, of course, generally sugared off in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And they'd go to these sugar parties, they just get around, I guess, 3 or 4 of them in the afternoon, and they'd always put some in the pail.
They home by the time they
Then we
went
get
home.
home, while they never quite a little sugar. I
It's
remember-
the hot sugar until
I
it
never
began
see it,
to
but I remember
drain,
Dad
and put
telling
in
about it.
pails.
We didn't have any milk way up in syrup, it was all sugar, 33,000 tons.
Well, that was Bernie's candy. I remember up at the, you
30,
had a big wooden
What's the
tub.
big bird?
About 30
Oh, that's a
pound
wood
tub.
bird.
34 pound tubs.
Yeah, that's
34.
And there was a knife
tub.
left in
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
and you went out and dug out a piece, and that was your candy.
And where'd you keep it?
Out in the back
They
room,
call it a back
you
room,
know, it
sugar
was a
room.
cool room.
The sugar room.
Then
Anywhere
after
is
a week
cool.
or two, they wondered what the price would be, like, as a rule, they went around here, went to carriage, all the St. John's Green, Mr. Silver would call them all up and tell them that they're taking the sugar, and so you take the horse's team, put in the sugar, tubs of sugar, and take it down to be graded.
How much did they weigh, John? About 40 pounds?
34 pounds.
33 or 34. 34.
I couldn't remember.
Yeah, 34.
So you didn't keep syrup around, you just
No,
dissolved the
Didn't have no
sugar?
syrup.
Didn't try to store sugar.
Uh-huh. So you always,
Oh, no,
and did
All
you,
the sale was for sugar.
and did you
all
use
sugar.
that sugar on pancakes, like?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you
Dissolve
made
it again?
maple frosting on cakes, this thick, you
Maple
know.
frosting just
But that's
reduced it
why
a little
they
bit for sugar.
changed, because it saved all that. Because they were milk and butter. They changed it, so now they get it and they do what they want with it. You see, if they get fancy, goes with fancy, and if you got some brown, think quite so good, you mix a little something else with it, and the blend, and then they, of course, the poor sugar, and the same with syrup, that goes mostly for tobacco.
I remember Mr. Black over here that he took off. You know where that shed of his horse barn, you've been over there, Mr. Roberts.
I think so, yeah.
That shed out
I
that
mean
way.
down on the
We
point.
call it the carriage barn.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
big carriage barn was there. And, well, it was after, Kerry was the first one to start buying syrup there. Well, before that, there was 3-4 years that Jimmy sugared off and didn't sell it, stored it. Because I can remember that even when the pails started running, it was leaking a little. Well, when he sold it that time, I can remember that telling about it. Judas Priest, he made a killing, because he kept it there. And they shifted off there and went into syrup there, and he had that sell.
Most people had to sell it just to pay their taxes, but
right.
Jimmy Black had money enough so he could hold on to it,
And
you know.
everybody, he never started sugar, no, everybody else was pretty near done.
No, he's.
George Davis, I remember telling him,
He always made dark syrup. Bernie said that they'd come over
Well,
to his
that's
house and buy syrup to use, for themselves,
Late
because
on.
their syrup was dark. Their
there was
sugar
one,
house, their
it was called
sugar
sugar place, isn't it?
Yeah.
places and wet.
Run right on
It didn't make as good syrup.
No, this is not on the point. This
No,
is the one
this is
here,
right
right,
over-
okay,
Right over there.
Barton's.
right.
Well, Bernie, do you remember when your sugar house burned?
Yeah, Steve remembers
So
that.
The light showed right down our dooryard.
No insurance on
My
that.
mother going around, the chickens were hollering, mother went around the end of the porch, we sit down on the porch, Mr. Black was over there. Dad, and I and Mr. Black sit down on the front porch there. Just then mother heard the chickens, she went around and the reflection from the sugar house, and she was going in the window.
And then the other sugar house burned
And then
right
just
after.
about that time, the other one started burning.
That was to cover up the first one.
It wasn't long after that when Pearl was away and he heard about it somewhere and he come home and he and I jumped in the car and went down to where old Parmeter lived down the highway. We didn't know exactly where he lived. But finally found where he lived. And I can remember Pearl went up the door and rapped on the door and he came to the door. Of course I was up in the car then, but Pearl said his undershirt was just as wet as snow could be. And Pearl says to him, he says, well, he says, you know your sugar house on fire? And I says, I thought that maybe I'd better come down and tell you. Well, he says, I've probably found out about it in the morning.
He set both of them. See, he set his Bernie's father's to cover up setting his because he had insurance evidently. And so he set both of them so it would cover up what
You
he'd
give
done for
a
his
hired man a motorcycle, if he set Dad's on fire, you see, because they must have come across from the road over across up there where Redbushes live, you see, and over across through that way. But they had some of the darling. He had some of the darling for the liar. And of course, we pulled up into. He was living in Hardwick then. So we pulled in St. Johnsbury Court. Pearl and I sat over there a week to testify. And that old Sumner darling, I I forget who it was, the lawyer for the state there, but he couldn't get Pearl or I on the stand once. That old son of darling could go to work and get him off the, why, he was a old quack.
He was one of the lawyers that if you did something wrong and you wanted to get out of it, you're hired, darn it.
Oh,
And
some
what
of
happened,
that.
he got out of it? Did he get out of it? No.
He didn't get out of it, did
No.
he? He got put in jail, didn't he?
Well, Bert finally burnt the buildings down there. He got put in jail for just 5 years. He got out on good behavior.
Didn't he
was
burn
in there
his-
for just 3 years.
He burned his buildings up across from yours before he did the sugar
Yeah,
house.
before he
didn't
did the sugar house.
This is your father's sugar house and that farm?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he burnt the buildings over across.
Did his horses burn that time?
Yeah, he drove the horses down to Drop Bay. I wasn't there when that burned. I was down school, but Dad told me about it. He drove the horses down and when Dad went over, he says, "What about the cows? The cows out?" He says, "Yes, the cows are all out. Help us get the stuff out here." So he did. Somebody else come. They went down, but there's so much fire then. They couldn't. They tried the door, and the door was nailed.
Yeah.
There's 20 some odd cows burned.
Oh, isn't that awful?
So where was his
And-
farm? Where was his farm?
Just
Permeter,
across
his
the
name
road
was
from
Permeter.
Go down.
what's the name over the old farm over.
What was his name?
Just across the road.
Bernie's old
Oh,
farm
You know,
is
the
up here.
apple trees
Well,
over there.
across the
Oh,
road,
right,
over
right
the
in
field
there,
was
that's
Square
right.
Permeter, and that was a farm by itself.
But
Oh, it
then
was.
they found a lot of his things over in his sugar house.
Yeah,
That he'd taken
yeah.
over there, because my
And
brother
his,
Charlie was no
His
good.
daughter, Greta was to home, they told me, and she asked her to come over and stay with her that night. And she came over and stayed with her, and she brought over 2 dress suitcases that was packed full of her.
It must have been something wrong with him, wasn't there?
They planned it.
Yeah, there must have been
But to
something
bring
wrong
your
with it.
cattle and your horses.
Oh,
in,
yeah.
That's terrible.
But down.
Was that for the insurance?
So that whole house,
yeah,
there's
he
no
did it
farm
for the
there
No,
anymore.
nothing there now, no.
I don't know who owns the
Down,
land
all
there.
around top.
It's like close to
Is
Os,
that
is it
the one
Osborne's land
just
now?
below the driveway there on the other side of the road?
It's on the other
I
side
know
of
the
the road
buckets,
from the
you
Atherton.
see,
Yeah, but
It's,
not
the
far from the
buckets up from
driveway.
down there,
Husband's,
some old ones. You had new ones up
Son-in-law,
there.
isn't it?
No,
That
it's
lives
not
up
too
on
far, not too
Bernie's
far.
old farm.
Probably old
So
cellar holes there
Well,
now,
it's
but
across
all
from that
grown.
farm,
No,
across
I
the
thought
road,
that
that
was
was a
what-
separate
I
farm.
thought it
Yeah,
was.
because there's a road that goes in there, so
Yeah.
that's probably
That
it.
was
Right.
Permeter.
What was the name?
Permeter's
Hurley
just
what?
lived
It was
there, the
this
building's
What was his
burned.
name? Hurley what?
Willie's down here.
I suppose
Well,
that
Pearl
was
was
east end.
Bernie's brother.
Went to school around
Oh, I get it. And whose farm was it?
And he went to work right
the one that
after he got out
burned?
of school.
Yeah.
That was
Then he went
Permeter.
to
He
his
burned his own farm.
Permeter?
Permeter.
Permeter, never heard that
And he
name.
burned his
That's
own
how I-
buildings,
I
and then
met him. Oh, he said
not
he
only
was
did
one
he
of the
burn his
best
own
persons
buildings,
he
but
said
to
they
cover
did
it up,
down
he
there.
burned their
And he
sugar
hurt
house.
his foot the night his buildings were burned. He was hobbling around, taking on, but he didn't even hurt
And-
himself.
and
That's
they
his
planned the
last
whole
name,
thing.
Permeter?
That's all he was in
Permeter.
there for.
Yeah.
What happened to them? Where'd they
He
go?
landed, he was in jail for 3 years.
Who?
But what happened to his
Permeter.
family, that family, Permeter family?
I moved out. I don't think.
Oh, they moved off over towards St. Johnsbury. The last I knew, there was some of them. One of the boys is over that way.
Ernest is dead, I think, now.
Pardon?
Ernest is dead, I believe.
I guess.
And Martha is dead.
That was a girl, wasn't it,
Uh-huh.
Martha?
And then there was
Yeah.
a humpback Clayton, I believe.
That's right, too. Yeah, there was a humpback.
And there was
wasn't
little,
Yeah.
his name was.
there? Yeah, she's speaking.
And we had a dance over to Palmer's one night, I remember that. Do you
Yeah.
remember?
I can't remember that.
I remember you was there.
Never heard of that story before.
No, I never heard of that. That's and that was what year
Oh,
was
yeah,
that? Was that? That was
That was the year, when was that, Bernie? Was that before or after you were in,
They,
got out?
his been burnt in 22, because that's when I was down Randolph, when his building burned.
Yeah, that would be 1922.
But it was spring after I got home, when they burnt the sugar house.
Yeah.
That would be 23.
He had good luck getting insurance, but he didn't get it down to Hardwick when he burned
No,
that
he didn't
place.
get down there.
You mean he did the same thing down
Oh,
Harvard?
yes,
did the
everywhere
same
he
thing
went.
down Harvey.
Before
He
or
was a
after?
firebug.
After,
After.
you see, he burnt.
Well, he had good luck the first few times he tried it, you see. He had good luck, so he kept right on.
Oh, you remember Ervil Parmenter? Ervil Reynolds.
Yeah, I remember him, yeah,
I correspond with his wife now, Ann Reynolds. She lives
Yeah.
in Lindenville.
yeah. I remember
She's in
him.
the street.
Speaking of burning sugar houses, did you Hear about Rosie Oates burning up when they were sugaring 2 or 3 years ago?
A little longer than that.
Well, not too long ago, but a few years ago.
Yeah?
Called the fire department one night. The sugar house was on fire. Well, they got over there. They had put a evaporator in a shed in the yard.
Yeah?
And to block the wind, they had hay bales all around.
Oh,
No kidding.
That's what caught fire.
Hay bales.
Yeah.
That's sort of like putting ashes in a paper bag.
That's right.
Yeah, I know somebody did that too, and almost set the buildings on fire before they caught
But
it.
that's what they were using for walls. was hay
That's what
bales.
they use for walls.
Some way they got a spark into it.
Oh, for heaven's
Of course,
sake.
it's easy to do, but
Well, I should think so.
And hay as soon as dry.
I think
Oh,
I'd
yeah.
have wet it
So you
down
have to
if I
soak
was
it
going
down,
to do
yeah.
it. I'd get it wet.
that's what the sugar house fire was.
Yeah.
They called a fire engine down to Bend the other day. Did you hear it go out?
Yeah, that was a false alarm, I guess.
I saw.
Yeah, I heard it. I was down on the ice.
I
and
went
heard
down,
False alarm?
nothing there.
Well, it was.
I don't know whether it
Called
was
for
a fault.
David Allen's, but she was standing outside shaking, shrugging her shoulders as if she didn't know anything about it. So,
I guess some kids called in that.
Probably,
somebody was there.
probably. Didn't take long to get there, but there was nothing there. That's the best kind.
Yeah, that's the best kind, the way you can turn around and go back home, not get. Yeah, Hardwick had quite a bit, didn't they?
Well, we used to have good times years ago.
Yeah, but we didn't spend very much money. We didn't have it to spend.
Don't take money to have a good time.
No.
We used to go to a lot of ball games in the winter. We would drive from Craftsbury with sleigh and a horse to Hardwick and Greensboro.
I saw the best northern lights once when I
We
was there in
just
Nebraska
liked
for a ball
Hardwick
game.
terribly. We wanted
saw
to beat them, but we
all
hardly
colors.
seldom did.
Just a few weeks ago, excellent northern
I didn't
lights.
see that.
Just 2 weeks ago.
Did you see the comet?
The what?
The comet?
I've seen it, yes.
You did?
I've seen a fuzzy ball in the sky where they say it's supposed to be.
I
But
didn't
it
see
doesn't
it.
look very
Anytime-
exciting.
anytime
No, I
went
wish
to
it
see
was
there
exciting, don't
cloudy.
you? I wish it was like it was last time, I mean, the first time it came up, you know.
You mean 72 years ago?
Yeah.
76 years ago?
Yeah.
I mean, then it was worth seeing. That was what, about 1914, I suppose, about the time of the First World War.
Well, it's 76, is it? Or 10?
1910, yeah.
We used to have parties at our house after most of the ball games in town. All the
This is
kids
basketball,
already-
right?
Yeah, and we'd go down home. My father, mother always willing. We'd get them up in the middle of the night. Mother played the piano, and we'd make candy and have
After you
charades.
came back to your ball game.
After we came back, and Dad would sit there or lay there and groan, but he never said anything. Oh, how he would groan. We'd wake him up. And I remember marching around their bed and waking them up and they're singing, you know, and Mother finally she'd get up and Dad would just groan.
That must have been on Friday nights.
But many times, I don't know how many, they would rather we'd come down there and raise cane than to be out somewhere where they didn't know where we were. And we had sledding parties, and that we'd slide on that big common hill, but there were no cars then, that is very few. And, but you had to go around a curve and it got going pretty fast. My folks didn't like it.
So it's on the main road, huh?
Yeah.
They did that in the village, the kids every
Oh,
school
yeah.
night
Down
practically.
the
They would
bend.
slide for, well, they'd start in the, up where the health center is,
Yeah.
or else they'd start
Way up by
Way
your
up,
Way up by
way
the
up
corner
above
where
the
the-
nursing home.
Yeah.
by the Eagles barn.
The old
Go
nursing
clear
home.
down below the water tub down in there.
No, the
Yeah.
prison
and
home.
drivers or something.
Then
That's
it
a
got
good
where
hit.
there once in
The
a while
corner
there was,
by,
you know, a few cars and they'd
no,
pull us
what's his
back
name?
up.
Well,
They'd
you
arm
never come around the
they'd
corner.
arm to
Because
pull
an
us
awful
back.
long
If it
ways
was
to
good
walk that
sledding, you
distance back.
couldn't go around the corner.
There's still a lot of good
Fast.
things today. There's a skiing,
Went
which is
up-
good, and then
went
that
up
square
the
dance in Hardwick is good too. You know,
Yeah.
they have the 10 rules: no drinking, no this and no that. You know.
Where's that now?
It's every Monday night at the school,
Oh,
and it's really a lot of fun.
yeah.
Trouble is, we don't feel like dancing nowadays.
I feel like it on my bones.
Maybe somebody would.
You know, it's the kind of, because they have these ruffle, at the parties time, these ruffle things that, and even have the underpants that go with it. And then the old, what is that round thing that goes around your leg? I never got one of those yet. That they, what do you call them anyway? You know, that, garter.
Garters, you wear garters at the square dances?
But that's only on their special parties.
But the square dance aren't anything like what we used to.
Oh, no,
No, it's different, that's
No,
right.
they've got all kinds of calls that you keep thinking during the night or any time because there's so many calls and you hear them over and over again. You know, make an ocean wave.
They had a lot
do
of
this,
different
do that.
I think that's how they survived during the winter though, because they could look forward to every weekend or
That's right,
getting together with the whole community, the whole section, and
Well, they had to more because there wasn't a TV, which
No.
somewhat you can sit there and, be entertained. It's not as good as doing something yourself, but I mean, for a lot of people, after they went through, those other years, then they sort of sit and are entertained, and it is nice. It's like having movies, sometimes a movie right in your house.
my first radio I bought with the first money I got teaching, and that would be in 27.
Oh, yeah.
We had a radio with this big thing,
Yeah.
on the top of it at water camp.
Yeah.
I wish I had that now.
Back in those days.
I just told them
The
maybe.
family was sure we couldn't stay in front of it or hear it.
Long, it looked like
Now
it,
they
it's cleaned off,
talk about
and all.
television.
I put the batteries in.
Yeah.
Did you listen to the Shadow and those?
Yeah.
And then we
Oh,
got
those
headphones,
different
and one of the first things I remember having was President Harding.
President Harding?
Speaking.
Wow.
Oh, that's amazing.
history.
That's a long time.
Well, do you remember the name Kate Smith?
Oh, yes, I
yes.
do. Moon
About the
over
first
the
time.
mountains.
Yeah, that was about the first.
Yes.
Oh, no, that wasn't the one.
When the moon comes over the mountains.
That was one of them, but there's another one. Oh, I can't think of it now.
Molly was one. What was it? It was
Fibber McGee. and
Fibber
Molly.
McGee and Molly.
Their
Yes.
closet that
Oh,
always
yeah.
came crashing out.
Yeah.
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 Oh, there was a lot of good
Then they had
programs.
squeaking, one that had a squeaking door too.
Yes.
Was that a
Now you
history
go
one
on,
or something?
No,
Must
that's
have been.
the, inner room, the.
Inner
we don't
sanctum.
come to that
Sanctum,
in New
yeah.
York with the dirty
What were the
hat.
two Negro
Al
ones?
Smith.
Only they weren't
Yeah.
Amos and Andy, and now they
Yeah.
couldn't possibly do anything like that. But in those
You
days,
could really ride off and
the
never
fact
see
is, you
that.
had all
Oh,
kinds
so
of
many
little
numbers.
things.
I know it.
And they said they never had a
Toothpick
note.
holders and everything else with Negroes. There's one up in the attic
Of
now.
course, he was
And
a
I wouldn't
Catholic,
even,
and,
well, I wouldn't dare show
he
it.
was one of course, Tammany Hall.
But it's old.
Yeah. That was
One of
Tammany
those.
Hall.
Well, personally, I think that's the wrong attitude.
Me too. I mean, like
I
that
don't know.
cakewalk, I can see nothing wrong with that. I enjoy it. I used to enjoy seeing it.
If you were a
It was lots
Negro,
of
maybe
fun.
you would.
Yeah.
If you were a Negro, you might
Oh,
feel
I
that that
suppose
So
was
it was just a
degrading.
type of dancing. You think the cakewalk
It was
is
just a
degrading
dance.
toward the
I
Negroes?
can't see
couldn't
how it
see
can
that
be.
either, but they
This
cut
is
it
the
out completely.
UVM.
Oh, yeah.
UVM used to
Mhm.
have it
Oh, that
always,
was a
now they
big
don't
thing
have it
in the
anymore.
winter, cakewalk.
Yeah, I
I
used to
think
think that
all
was
the high
wonderful to see
schools
them.
sent down.
Yeah.
I don't know,
I
if
saw
I were a
one of the
Negro, I
last
might
ones. It
feel
was very interesting.
that it was.
Well, you might. I don't know. It seems to me it's just a dance form.
Of course,
Well,
on
it
the
is to us,
defensive.
but I'm not sure it is to them.
Yeah, and they're on the defensive because
Yeah.
they've been.
Yeah.
Well, it went out
long.
when it was when Black Power was really in, and that's when they just
Well,
wiped
that's
out
right.
all
Yeah.
that stuff.
Yeah, it goes-
Now it's a
Friction
little
and then
calmer
putting up
again,
the
and may have
shanties.
survived today, but
They tried the green face for a while.
yes, I saw the
And
green
that's
face.
ridiculous.
That's
Yeah.
ridiculous, yes.
In fact, that I saw the next to last one, and that was all
Maybe
green.
ghosts might be more like it.
Yeah.
White.
White, maybe.
But that.
The white face, yeah. That's,
I couldn't see this green.
No.
Well, they had a lot of fun.
Oh,
It's
yes,
just- It's
yes.
just too bad, really, in
It
a
took an
way.
awful lot of practice to
Yeah.
do
Oh,
those.
yes.
Yeah, oh, yes.
Mhm.
Or the high kicking.
Did
or
Bob
something.
go to
And
UVM?
then they had skips.
Did your
that they
son
put
go to
on every
UVM?
time.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Bob.
Did
Did
no,
they?
not Bob.
Also, it seems to be it would fit in with music, and it'd be like Mrs. Potter doing quite a bit of it at the last of my teaching
Yeah.
anyway. I don't know what it's
But
like
you,
now.
do you have Halloween, not at night?
Not
but
the way,
speaking
when
or
I first
anything?
started teaching, we used to have everybody, speaking in
Yeah.
plays, and they would choose them themselves, and, they would wear mustaches, and they had a lot of
That's
fun.
when we used to have box parties too, with the Halloween night, you raffled off boxes.
But then you did less and less, even like
Yeah.
Memorial Day, we used to walk up to the cemetery.
Yeah.
There's just more being done.
They just
And
don't
we
do
used
much
to have
hunting
town
Memorial Day
Christmas
now.
parties
not
too.
anything. No,
Yes. Yeah.
Sure.
Oh, you'd have your tree, yeah.
Yeah,
And
in
they
the
have
town
Christmas
hall,
parties at church too.
town hall, church.
Sure.
I can remember way back. Didn't they have them in the church at the village here, even for the school
Don't
Christmas
they
party?
now? Or don't they?
No, now they have them in the
don't
room. But when I was a child, I remember going down there, and it must have been connected with school. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been there at church and stuff.
That's right.
High school, they always
Like
made
I
a
would
lot of
never be
Halloween.
in the town, I wouldn't
Have
know.
the things like.
Yeah, but I
we
never
had
been there
the,
anyway in the church, and it was at Christmas time.
Meeting up at
Something special that was staying in my mind, because it was a great night.
Hardwick
So it was
and
like
Greenville, and they
millions
used
of
to have
dollars.
their double meetings in the summertime up there at the lake, you know. That was a lot of fun, they raised a lot of money too.
Bernie, you remember the time they had something down in Greensboro Village and your folks took the 2 horses and the sled and we all went down, and I don't know whether you froze your ears, but some of your family froze something. It was awful stormy and cold that night. You don't remember that, do you?
I can't remember that, Jeanette.
Went with the old horses and the sled. And I stayed up at your house that night.
Yeah.
I remember one night I walked to the village to play basketball.
I
in the
don't
town
remember
team,
that,
and
by golly.
it was 45 below on
Oh
the village
my
store.
goodness.
60
Today
down
they'd
at the
be
dam.
called, they'd be called off way before it got that
Oh, yeah.
cold.
Oh, well, today you see, they tell you on television what the
Stay
wind
home.
chill is and that,
Yeah,
that then you
that's
stay in, and
Yeah.
back then you didn't even know, so it didn't matter, didn't matter so
You
much.
didn't know, didn't care.
The book, when they graduated, we made $136. And we had, this was all around the hall, along our manual training. We'd go up and down the stages around. They had duck raffles and they had the throw darts, went clear in the hall.
I think this was a
And,
Christmas tree at the
We
church.
made,
Christmas tree, yeah.
And, well, we had to
Back
make
then, they always, because I can remember, us kids always had to go down to church, because, and that was a night that the folk, mother and dad would stay at home, and then we always got packages from Burlington, different places where the uncle and aunts were, you know. And mother and dad would always open those packages and put them around the tree.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
Us kids couldn't be around it. Well, generally, we'd have a piece, we had to speak or something.
yeah, that's right.
And not only that, but you had to, in the Christmas day, you had to wait until after dinner, until after the dishes were all done. You ate dinner, and then you had to do up the dishes, and you had to sweep up the floors, and then you went and sat down, and it was so hard to wait, you know? Well, wait, you know, until after that, all that rigmarole, before you could open a present.
Well, we probably made a lot of money, but I seen the report, we used to have a guy done by. Most of all at graduation.
Remember him?
We had to speak to him way along in May. And we, when we paid him $85, of course he had about 10 musicians, and it was top. So he used to play in Boston during the winter time. The billboards.
Guy Dunbar?
That guy done by.
And he played at Christmas parties?
Graduation.
At graduation.
Graduation, but he used to play. He played up in Willoughby Monday nights, and he played down in Woodland Lake down below. I think he played on
Harvey's
Tuesday
Pond.
night. Harvey's Pond,
He played
Wednesday.
accordion, didn't he? Or what did he
Yeah,
play?
he
His
played
instrument?
sax, but most of it was
Oh, I thought he
accordion.
played violin.
I do know he
He'd
played
walk
the
up in
accordion,
among the
but-
people playing his violin.
Yeah,
He died by
yeah,
tuition.
he used to go around when we did North Joe's. He always had his accordion.
Guess he
And
could play anything.
Yeah.
he'd walk in like my horse and do it.
Jeanette, do you remember at Christmas time that, I remember Bernie's mother anyway, she gave, even if it was just a handkerchief or a cake of soap to everybody in the community. I mean, the kids and all got a handkerchief, maybe some crocheting around it, or a cake of soap, or some little thing, but everybody.
Everybody
That's-
gave something, and
gave-
but people didn't have that.
And so it was
Christmas
something
tree
that
at
was
home, and as
useful.
much I know we didn't.
I got a little bib that she gave my John when he was a baby. That's over
Really?
50 years ago, and I've got it yet.
I mean, but I remember
Boy,
she
that
worked for
church.
weeks and weeks and weeks
Yeah.
to get that all,
We made cards. And
it would be a nice linen handkerchief, but one handkerchief.
Just to everybody she knew in the community.
Everybody, well, I mean,
neighborhood.
if you went to dances, the whole community was in it anyway,
She
and they were
was-
all friends.
She was mother.
Midwife, yeah. She,
Oh, so she delivered babies.
oh yeah.
Your mother did.
Yeah, Marjorie Lapierre, was she, Marjorie, your mother delivered her?
It was Donald Gebbie and all the Gebbies up there.
She delivered.
My mother was a midwife too.
Doctor was there.
Even Mary used to get Mrs. Atherton to come down if a kid had a cold, Gordon or Kathleen, get her to come down.
Yeah.
I remember that. She was handy, but you can't get anybody now.
So everybody was everybody here born at home?
I was.
I was born in the hospital.
Oh,
But I think the Dr. Easton used to have their place.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you had doctors, but you had also a midwife. My mother brought some of your family into the world.
Work up there, but I mean,
Yeah. The child that they took to, mother went with your mother to Burlington with that.
Yeah, we all know that. She was younger than Arthur.
Yeah. Yeah, had a soft spot on the head or
She
something.
had a bunch on her back.
Yeah, and my mother, she was midwife, and she went with, I remember, she was going with your mother to Burlington with that child.
Cindy there?
When they brought the child home, it was all sores, they just didn't have to take care of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Mrs. Don Bible and go down around the band.
I guess you just had to be old and with a lot of experience, and you could be a midwife.
I guess it's that way all over. I know
Yeah.
Fred's mother apparently did a lot of that up in Edge of Canada. Fred's mother up in Edge of Canada. She did an awful lot of midwifery. No training for it, except, as you say, experience.
Yeah. I don't know what they did to if things went wrong. I guess they
Well, they did have the doctor too, didn't they?
Oh, yeah, they always had a doctor.
Doctor there.
But of course, as you say, if something really went wrong, he'd have to be able to take care of it the best he could.
Maybe they just died. I don't know. I don't think they went to hospitals then.
Oh.
No.
Well,
Remember
you look in the
last mother
cemeteries, an
there
awful lot
that,
of women that died
was
young
down
and
to,
other families.
the Mondays there. Dr. Libby there, and she scratched the finger. Remember that? She got a little poison in it.
It seems though I do remember the blood poison business.
And I forget, there was, well, I think it was these 3 fingers here. Because there was Dr. Bibby and then Dr. Easton up there. And she was sick up home. I remember they coming up there and they operated on these 3 fingers.
And this finger was absolutely stiff. She couldn't bend this.
And that was your mama.
That was
She
doing,
got blood poisoning.
Bibby didn't leave the right pills there for disinfectant that time.
Well, I can remember they're telling all about the Bibby. You had a box stove, you know, usually in the living room. And he'd come, and if he wanted to have a pill, he'd put the pill on the stove and take his jackknife out and cut it in two.
Tell him when he did the jackknife before.
Yeah, that'll do. Yeah.
Ida Calderwood used to go around too to houses, remember?
Who?
Ida Calderwood.
Yeah, I think killed. Yeah.
You know, Charlie Valander worked there and his
Yeah.
wife stayed there,
Yeah.
and Ida was a little
Charlie
jealous.
Lyons. I can remember him. He was from where?
Sweden.
Sweden, that's right. He was a Swede.
I don't think they ever hired any nurses or anything. You just helped one another if they needed it.
Well, anyway, his wife, Charlie's wife, had a baby over to Calderwood's, and Ida left. She was jealous of Charlie and his wife,
Yeah.
and she left, went down to Burton Lunch down below our house. And so they got Ann was working over there at that time, and they got Bess Babcock to come down. She used to be a nurse.
Yeah.
Now Charlie's dead, Valander, and also his wife died recently.
I remember we were driving some heifers up at those times somewhere, and the Charlie Flanders, he was going along. He picked up the stick and he was going along. Then you have him think. He says, I shouldn't pick up that stick. He says, that man may want that stick. I mean, I suppose in the old country, I mean, they didn't do that, don't you know? I can remember that.
Well, it's sort of like, when we were a kid, we could pick berries anywhere, but you don't go out picking berries on people's land today without asking, you know.
Yeah.
And probably Well, lumber probably scarce enough.
Then Tom Morse's had a big family up there.
Yeah,
My
they
mother
had-
used to
they had
go
a big
there.
family there. Yeah.
To change the subject, have you ever been up to see the house that they moved, you know, that you once lived in?
Yes, I was
Isn't
last
that
summer.
something? I was there last summer too, I couldn't believe it.
It doesn't look like my house anymore.
No, so big, big, big.
Oh, in Craftsbury?
No,
No,
Greensboro. No, it's
Greensboro.
Greensboro.
Up by Lewis Hills.
by Lewis Hills, they picked that very big house and moved it off a ways. And
My, I don't see how they did.
I
I thought it'd fall to pieces.
But they did lose the L end off it. I was in there a couple of days when they were moving it.
Oh,
Really
yeah.
something.
I want to get up this summer.
Boy, it
Yes.
cost some time to go.
I know it must have been a
Oh,
No, he
yeah.
never did make nothing on that deal. He
Oh,
should have
no.
waited a little bit. Of course, the rain comes, no, he got the noise there. You know, biggest for wells, he come up there with his big heavy equipment and boy, they worked everything. Boy, they must have.
You know, the strange thing too is where the lats are, you know, when they have the plaster, he had those taken off and then put right back on. They want to keep a room showing all the lats.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which, you know, most of us hide those.
Yeah, okay, but he does wonderful work. That's pretty good luck as a rule.
Yeah.
Just having to run into it and what he could have. But I understand they definitely wanted it a certain day.
Dr. Pirelli told me that they found an old shoe in one of the petitions.
Oh,
It's
yes.
one of those that buttoned up.
Oh,
And then in another petition, they found an old gun, part of an
well,
old
for
gun.
heaven's sakes, yeah.
Seems like there's always stuff hidden in walls.
Yes.
Because we keep every time we take out a wall to insulate it at the launch, there's stuff in there. Tobacco cans, anything like that.
I found some cans up
Bottles.
here, that- little cans like that, baking powder
Well,
and stuff like that come in. It was up in the attic and it was insulated tile. They were down in there.
I wonder why they're in there. I mean, why
I know,
would anybody
I-
put a
I
baking
don't-
powder can into a
The
wall?
bottles I can understand because
Some
of
of them
their
still got the-
alcohol, why the men were hiding it.
Yes,
What's
yes.
right.
Yeah.
Maybe they were hiding the tobacco.
Well,
Yeah,
They're
it would
working
be.
on it.
Up in the attic, we found an old pair of glasses, which you would wonder, it's just like plain old glass, and, you know, the frame, very delicate. I don't know how they could even, you know, keep them, anyway, they're very nice, old things.
I've got a pair of those.
I found it. They used to dump things where my mother lived in the village. The shed, you know, they had a hole in the floor and everything went down through that
Oh
hole.
my.
And I went through some of that stuff, but I didn't find anything really
Anything
ancient.
really.
But I did find one of those pair of old glasses.
Yes.
Bernie had a spell
In
when he
between
was
bottles.
trying to find old bottles. He had a spell of finding old dumps and breaking them over.
Bottles are worth something then. The bottles aren't worth it.
They're worth a nickel.
These kind, not these kind, no.
Yeah, it used to be worth it. Good heavens, I had bottles. They used to be worth $35.
Yeah, he's got some marked downstairs that he looked up in the catalog. They were worth
Yeah.
$25,
Same
$30.
ones aren't worth anything.
I don't know. I don't know where you get rid of them around here. Nobody's
They're
collecting
not,
bottles now. I
yeah,
don't
it's
think.
not. We've got some in the dump behind the ski house there. There's a little dump. There's bottle, Cox Pharmacy. I don't know. What was it before that? Kimball's?
Wait.
Yeah, for Sunday red buttons.
Oh,
You don't know
All
if
kinds
anybody
of Hardwick
wants
Pharmacy
a quart of
bottles.
whiskey, do you?
A quart of whiskey.
I've got a bottle that
You might need it if you get cold.
I never
Rubbing.
opened it. No, Rob gave it to Andrew and I, 1930. And I never have opened it.
That's really
I've got a
aged.
bottle of wine in here that Marnie Mitchell gave me.
Champagne.
Champagne. Gosh, I don't know how. Ages and ages ago. Because she spent it a long
Gee, and
time.
I thought I had doing pretty well keeping my bottle of whiskey, but that
Well,
really doesn't
yeah.
make it compared to yours.
I've got it in the refrigerator, and every time I clean the refrigerator, I think of Marnie. And I just put it right
Put it
back.
back, yes.
What would be any good now anyway, probably.
Andrew
Oh,
wanted
why
to open
would
it
you
to
do
give
that?
some to a sick calf, but
Yeah.
I never let him open it.
Oh,
For heaven's sake.
I don't think that spoils. I think you'd always
I think
have
it gets
good-
better maybe.
Yes,
if you're-
yeah.
once if it's open, but once it's unsealed, it will keep all right.
Yeah. Oh, but once
Just
you
gets
open it, that's a
Once you
different
open
story.
it.
But yours isn't open, and
Mine isn't.
yours
Mine
doesn't sound as if it's open.
I just
It isn't
keep it
open,
in
I
the
don't see that
refrigerator.
Yeah.
Marnie was a great friend of yours.
Mine is in the refrigerator.
I don't think it'd have to be. I mean, you don't keep yours in the refrigerator.
Oh,
If
no,
it's
no,
not,
it's in
if
the
it's-
closet
yes,
on a
yes,
shelf.
because you could just as well. And yours, I don't know any reason putting it in the
I
refrigerator.
don't know, but I'm not gonna find out. I don't have it this long, I'm gonna keep it. I'm just gonna keep.
I should think an antique place where they sell whiskey would want it.
Oh, I would think so. I would think so.
I've tried down
Well,
there.
my wine, you know,
Not
being as
Harvard,
old as this, might be worth a lot of money. I
Why
don't
don't
know,
you
it might be the right, just the right vintage.
Oh,
Yeah, you'd have to advertise
I
it
don't know.
in somewhere, and I bet there'd be somebody that
This is
wanted it.
Seagram's, I believe.
Yeah, why don't you advertise it?
Well, it's kind of a keepsake.
Why don't you invite us all down for a party?
Now you're talking.
Yeah.
I think I'd keep my old bottle and give them something
It's
different.
a pretty
Yes,
bottle,
they
it's
want
all
it.
pebbly, you
Well,
know.
keep it.
I bet Seagram's Distillery would like it. They
I
may have a
wouldn't be
museum
surprised.
of all their different
Yes.
years.
Yeah.
It's a pretty bottle.
Yeah. You know, one thing I have now, which I'm sure is not very old, probably some of the rest of you, you know, I was asking Bernie about silhouettes, you know, when they used to make these pictures that were sort of silhouette against the black, and then they usually had a background green or some color, and I think those are pretty with ladies with long black dresses. I don't know what year about did they used to make those in the...
This one I have is from my aunt that came from Scotland,
Oh.
and she came 1829.
And she has one of those? I'd like to
Well,
see
of course,
that
she was
sometime.
in this country when
Oh,
this
yeah.
was taken. Somebody drew it.
Oh, but it looks like glass. The glass is sort of out, you know, it's not
Oh, it's a
concave, whatever it is.
Convex.
Convex, whatever you
Yeah, I
call it.
guess.
Yes.
This
yeah.
just plain.
Oh. I think they're very pretty.
How much are old trunks worth, do you know?
I don't know, we got a lot of them.
Depends on why you are,
Yeah.
rather than.
And who wants it?
And who wants it, that's
Yeah.
exactly.
Depends on what's in them.
Oh, this
That
is
would be
empty.
even better. Yeah, I was gonna stay right upstairs, but when Alice wanted one, we said, just go up and help yourself, take whatever you want.
Ours are
Our
full
kids
of
go
junk.
through a
You
spell
go
when
to
they
some
want an old
auctions,
trunk,
they'll sell good. You go to another one
and they'll just give them back.
and
Yeah,
shoot.
that tells us one thing,
Gee,
it's
we're
time to
staying
be
longer
going.
this time.
Yes,
You
time to be
Well,
going.
that's
Well,
all right.
we're
for
staying
my
3
concern.
tapes instead of 2.5, or 1.5. No, 1.5.
We're getting half as much done.
We got a lot.
Yeah, we got a lot, but we didn't get the 2 things we wanted to get.
Well, I
Oh,
think
we
she's
just
got
have
a
to
lot
meet
of
again.
the,
We got a lot of
She
entertainment.
did get a lot of the fun things, because a lot of the fun things were connected with school.
Everything's mixed
Yeah.
in.
No, she said no.
I think there were more parties
That's the
at
whole
the
idea.
school than they have today, because they were smaller communities.
Yeah.
Yeah, like when I was teaching at the Bend, it was hard to even go up the road without somebody waving
Well, I was
a
over
coffee cup, and
Well,
then
during the
now you have a cup of
bicentennial,
coffee before you go
I was
home.
up with
Oh,
some
really?
other
Yeah, oh
people
yes, we used to
since
stop quite often, but you
still
couldn't
rock
do
it,
that
you know
every
where
night of
to
the
do
week
it.
because you never
then.
got
Oh,
home.
no, still rocks there now.
There's a lot more about
Yeah.
school
And they're still
that we
wrong.
could have
It
mentioned.
does.
Oh, yes, within the
Well,
last
I'd heard
4 or 5
that.
years.
sure.
I've been, well, I tell you, I was in there
So
with
is
Charlie
Mary
Richardson
Richardson your
and I don't
sister-in-law?
know.
Sister-in-law.
My brother's married to your
One
brother.
time,
And so
that
Rob,
was-
their son, is your nephew.
No,
Yeah.
Rob,
I understand
brother.
somebody tried to
But
pull
they
it
have
off once.
don't they have a son
I
named
think
Rob?
they do that.
Yeah. Because I know him, he's
Oh, you
from
do?
my age.
No, but when the bicentennial.
He
and
owns
then
the little house
we had
across from the
guests
farm.
from
I thought that was Gordon.
Pittsburgh that I think I
Gordon.
took
Gordon,
in the
I
last
know.
3 or
Yes,
4 years.
Gordon.
and that was-
Yes, that's
we could
what I
rock
know.
it then.
Now, was Gordon's father your brother?
Right.
You have to know exactly the right place to
Sure, the
do it.
right place to do it.
They had 2 children, they had Gordon and they had a girl,
Kathy.
Kathy, who
She
died
got killed.
in
She got
the
killed.
accident. Yes. Was that your sister too that got
That's
killed
right.
now?
I
I had a
didn't.
sister, Joyce, yeah.
And you had a sister too, then, okay. And Gordon lives in Burlington, I think, yeah.
Well,
But he
Essex,
kept
I
the
didn't.
little,
And I
he
take
kept that
them
little,
over.
I was just going to ask, what happened
Yes, the
there?
little house across from the
I
farm.
was just going to ask.
Yeah.
Burlington or
Essex.
Essex? I thought it was Essex.
It's
Well, he
not too
comes
far
up.
from my
But
son,
then
John.
other people went
Yeah,
around,
he
did
comes
things
up
locally. no?
Sure.
once in a
Yeah.
while. I
Yes,
see
he
him.
does,
He comes to
yes.
the lodge for one thing or another.
Yeah.
That's good.
I think he's probably a little older than my husband, so they know each
Gordon
other.
is
He's like
about
49.
55, I
Oh,
should
well,
say,
he's 10
around
years
that.
older than.
Gordon has stopped in here once or twice.
Yeah, he comes back a lot.
How's your husband's leg, is it getting better?
He's hobbling about.
We went to Newport when the.
I mean, I came in, I said, I got Ben Gay all over this.
Do you remember me? Well, I knew
Bernie
looking at
said,
him
well, I got
immediately
no
that he
more
was a
than that.
hygiene.
He has been
But I
Gay
couldn't
on
have
his,
told which
I don't know
one
what
was
happened, if
John.
it's just a little arthritis, something still on my wrist, which I've never had before, so it's sore as a.
He's living in Newport
That's what
now.
his bones is in it.
Who is this?
John Hyder.
Do, I can't
The
take
boy,
images,
the
so
boy.
that's
Yeah.
the thing. If I could
He's come back from from
I haven't seen
California.
a
now?
doctor, I'm not
Well,
going
he was
to, I'm just
Florida.
gonna hope that.
He's in Florida.
He was in
He
Florida.
used to be in California. didn't he?
Yeah, well,
That's
he
the other
said
one.
he'd been in Hawaii and Hong Kong and Berlin.
'Cause he was
Now, isn't he in the circus or something?
he was a
No.
dancer there,
He
wasn't
had
he?
some-
Something.
That's Terry.
Huh?
Terry.
That's
That's
Terry.
that's the other one.
Yeah.
Mhm.
This
Yeah.
is John. John's
where's
name is-
Terry?
Still dancing?
California, I think.
Yeah.
Huh?
California.
Yeah,
He's
is he
dancing.
still dancing?
I don't know, the Tanguy girl hears from him.
Oh,
Oh, she does? Huh.
She gave me his address when I was
Yeah.
young alumni.
Well, John was in Charles' class. But Terry is old.
Diane lives in Virginia, I believe.
But he said he didn't know why he was in these other places. Apparently legs were long. And so what do you think he's doing? He's in the pearl business.
Pearl?
What do you mean, buying and selling?
Yeah,
I judge so.
I judge so. That's what he
Diving?
said. No, not diving. Although he did live in Hong Kong.
I would think that's a funny place to be for Pearl.
I would think so.
He must have
He said he'd learned a lot about him. So.
probably got that in Hawaii, didn't he? Wasn't that, isn't that where
Hawaii,
you
Hong
went?
Kong.
Hong Kong, yeah. Huh.
He's back in Vermont.
And on the lake, he tried to get a place in Greensboro on the lake. The prices were fantastic.
One he wanted to pay.
And, but he wanted to be on the lake, so he's on the lake.
Not
I guess
Newport.
on the east side of Memphis.
Maybe. That's John Hyder. There's one guy, I thought it was a Hyder, that used to come back every other year or so and camp on our beach. And I thought he was in the circus.
Well, he worked for the circus.
He worked
The
for
same
one, I
one.
guess.
Yeah.
Probably the same one.
Probably is him.
John. Yeah.
I remember just visiting at the lodge and there would
Yeah.
be this guy camped on the beach. And I think that was a Hyder.
Well, it could be.
No, I
Probably
think
the
he's come
same
back
way.
much more than the others.
Harriet said he used to come into the post office occasionally. So
No, probably
might
was.
very well have been.
Did you ever start a stamp collection because you worked in the post office so long, or?
Not me.
Not
Saw enough
Just
stamps.
come home and you'll.
I've got one.
You've got
Oh, you have one?
Oh,
Oh, yes, yes.
No, he gets a shoebox full and then he catalogs them.
Oh,
And I
yes.
mean a shoebox.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's one company that sells foreign, they're foreign stamps.
Oh, I see.
There's a regular shoebox, the packet just fills the can.
Yeah.
Oh, you
You don't
buy
have
the
one with
boxes?
the little airplane upside down, I think, wasn't it?
No, I'd like one.
Are you still buying them?
Oh, I don't buy them, but I keep them all the time. I mean, it's just a nonsense. I don't do anything with them. I just have a drawer and I put them in there and people give them to me and I put them in there.
I got to the point where if I kept on the United States stamps, they were going to cost me quite a lot a piece.
That's it, so I
And
stopped
I
with those.
decided I wanted numbers rather than quality, so I
Did
started
you read in
on
the paper
foreign.
where they're gonna sell
I got about
22
16,000.
cent stamps for 17 cents?
Yeah,
What? What's
it's an
that?
advertising stamp.
Well, they're buying them up from the post office and they're gonna absorb and they're gonna advertise on them.
Yeah, they're going to put them on a folder, which also is got adhesive on the back to stick the whole thing on to the stamp. It's
And you can
it's
buy them, and they think really, well, why shouldn't they? All these people that are spending a lot for stamps, well, we could do that for the high school.
Now what is
It
it
costs
they,
a lot of money for
Yeah.
stamps.
but what do you, I mean, you can buy them for 17 cents or what
No,
was this idea? I didn't understand
this
that part.
particular company is buying them
Oh, yes.
and then
Paying 22.
Paying 22.
Yes.
which the post office wouldn't discount them, I don't
No,
think.
no.
They pay 22 and then they use them as advertised.
Oh, I
But they
see.
sell them for 17 to these different companies.
So that they would use them for
They're trouble
advertising.
in
Oh,
that.
yeah.
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 Doesn't
They
sound
figure
like
they
it
can get
makes
enough
money
out
to
of the
me.
advertising.
Doesn't make sense, does it? No, it doesn't make sense. But
I don't think that's a good fundraiser.
But somebody said that something new. Well,
Yeah.
the last stamp paper I got. It's got a picture of an envelope stamp. It was published, was used in 1873, I think, and that's got the same thing, advertising around the stamp. But yeah, I think probably that was just stamped on.
Yeah.
But
Well, it may work out because 22 cents is a lot if you have a lot of. You don't get many.
Sure.
You put $5 out to
but-
get some stamps. You don't get that now.
But it's only costing these companies 17.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
right, yeah.
And you're advertising around the stamp on the envelope.
But as they
And then you
said,
can
a lot
use
of
the
people aren't
envelope
gonna
to
like
send.
stamps with
Oh, yeah,
advertising
yeah.
on them.
Yeah, the advertising is right
They
with
do
the stamp.
It depends how big it is. You know, I don't know how big the whole thing's gonna be. It's gonna cover quite a bit of your envelope.
I don't know.
Is there a
I
certain
don't know.
size
That
that
all
you can
worked
use
out.
for envelopes, then you can't use? I mean, if they're too small,
Yes.
they have a limit. Yeah.
You could, but as for the outside, you have to pay extra, that's all.
Oh, I
If
see.
it's bigger than a
Oh.
certain amount.
But the smallness is what they don't want too
No,
small.
because they go through the cracks.
Oh, I see.
Actually, literally.
No, but you pick up a handful of mail,
Yeah.
and you have a little small one in
Yeah.
there, it can drop.
Very,
Get
very
lost
easy
very
to
easily.
drop
it.
It drops, yes, I see,
And,
yes.
And with these machines that they're using now,
Yeah.
they wouldn't go through it, so
No.
that
Mhm.
you can read them, you see.
These machines will cancel, what is it, 60,000 an hour or something like that?
Some idiotic number, but
Yeah,
but reading them, see, you have an arm comes up with an envelope,
yeah.
and the person sits there and marks off the digits of your zip code.
Oh, yeah.
You've got 10 little places here.
And then they're sorted automatically according to
Oh,
where the keys are set.
Oh, yeah.
And unless,
something.
Seems complicated.
Doesn't it?
but any little one, you know, they've got to do
Yeah.
it by hand
Yeah.
because the
Yeah, I just
machine-
wondered, you know, because I do think, I don't know, I've never had one come back, but I think I sent some out that never got there. But then those, you know, sometimes a funeral homes gives you, and they're really kind of small. And I was
I
heard
expect
afterwards you're
they're
not
legal
supposed to.
size now.
Oh, you
Debbie
think now?
bought some in the,
Yeah.
that Smith store when she was sending all her thank yous out from the fire that time.
Yeah.
And got them, took them to the post office and she
And
had to
they're
come
all
home and put them all in bigger
All back,
envelopes.
yes, that's for a
Yeah.
job to, yeah, because
They
you have
apparently
the
hadn't
stamp.
sorted them out
Yeah.
down there.
But you do soak off the stamp, or?
I don't know what she did, I would hope so.
I would think so, because that's quite a
But
lot
they
of
were all
money.
too small, I know.
Yeah. Now, going back to stamps, though, then, Mr. Wilson, you have some from Europe more than other places, is that it?
Mhm.
Oh, you have some way back in Hitler's days and all that.
Oh, yeah.
I do too, because I was.
I started in 1922,
Oh, well, you'd
I
have a
think.
lot more. You have the old tree. There's some beautiful ones from way back that I always remember. Yeah.
I have most of the United States stamps, not the
Oh,
more
yeah.
expensive early ones,
No, no.
most of them.
Well, I got a scattering. of all
Howard had a
kinds.
lot too of them.
Instead of stamps, I have scrapbooks,
Oh.
Excellent.
Yeah.
way back over 50 years.
Well, I
My
always
wife
thought
still-
somebody in the family, you know,
Oh, yeah.
sometime like if Alice, if they have children or somebody,
And
that
one of
they'd
the
have a
boys does
ready-made
it.
nest to go
One of the
to. If they,
boys.
you know, if they're interested in it,
The
they're not
boys?
gonna stay
Yeah.
right there.
One of them is in Berlin,
But I have
John's
no
in
intention of
Berlin.
spending hours and
Yeah, but one
hours.
of them collects stamps.
Somebody may in the future,
And
and that
the
would be a
other
big,
one
big stock.
He's in Michigan, teaches at state, Michigan. And the girl now is back down in Texas.
Well, if you don't get up, we're gonna be here.
Gonna be here all night.
It's snowed in if you don't get it.
Well, we can't get out, we'll be snowed in.
I'll call the road commissioner if you, if it's not getting
Put us up, you're gonna call the road commission.
I'll
We'll call the
Well, I
expert
guess we
commission.
gotta have those beds.
What do you mean,
I don't
the
know how
extra?
many we can put
Oh,
out.
yeah, well, I wouldn't have been in the
Find out what we can hang on, John.
Young man.
They didn't get me plowed out, they didn't get us plowed out one day, but they left a meal down to the horses and I walked down and got out.
When I got down here.
And I called them and they came right up and plowed us out because it's not very nice to be snowed in up here. I don't like it. Of course, I don't mind if the telephone's going and all, but sometimes the telephone's out when you have a big storm.
How did you like this 1 to 3 inches we got last week?
I didn't like it, really. It spoiled my fishing. I go down there and have to travel way up to my knees in
Yeah.
snow.
I know.
How many fish have you got this year?
Oh, I can't count them.
You did get quite a few.
Oh, I got quite a few. You smell the smoke out there because I smoked a mess last week.
What kind?
Trout,
Oh, trout.
rainbow, and you know, it's really good. We like it. I put it in a very weak.
That's quite a beautiful plant you have out there with those red flowers. What is
Oh,
that?
that's azalea, and I cut it down.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Cut it, you know,
Well,
but the bird, yeah. I'm sorry.
Break John.
Well, that was your clicking. I was looking at it to see what it clicked.
Christie, right, the people that
I
can.
guess I got
Well, I hope
Oh,
we
yeah.
didn't spend too much on tapes.
Yeah.
3 tapes. That's a lot.
What?
3
Tapes
tapes
and nonsense, huh?
of nonsense? I don't know.
Maybe you'll get something out of
We'll
it.
get something out of this.
Yeah. Maybe you can go ahead. I'm glad I haven't had to do it.
What's that?
Well, after this, I'll have to sit, have to go sit there and listen to it.
That's
Yeah.
right. Unless you try to transcribe it, it takes forever.
That'd be a
Yeah,
job.
that's the biggest one.
That'd be a job.
It is.
That's sure. Oh,
Oh,
is it tonight, that town meeting?
yeah.
Yes, pre-town meeting tonight.
And they can have it for all we, I won't be there.
Well, I plan to go, but I don't know whether I will, so I might doubt it.